Were you ready to go? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Delray Beach Regular Commission meeting this Monday, March the 9th. Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Markert.
Here.
Commissioner Cassell. Here. Deputy Vice Mayor Burns. Here. Mayor Carney.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. If you could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to request a moment to speak.
Okay.
Thank you. Over the weekend, and then again this morning, residents received an endorsement from Tom Carney for a commissioner candidate. This was paid for by the candidate. This represents a flip-flop of the mayor's previous position on endorsements. However, what started as an endorsement turned into a newsletter filled with false information and attacks. I'll read you some of what the letter said. You all can be the judge. Qualified experiences relating to the job of being commissioner is vital. The job entails being able to read and understand the city's budget so that responsible tax policy can be developed. With a budget that exceeds $450 million, it is imperative that we have someone elected that can read a budget of that size and analyze where savings might be obtained. Last year, I, Tom Carney, was the only one on the commission to suggest areas where we could save money. The rest of the commissioners stayed silent, and then the three of them voted in unison to raise your taxes. Keeping this city affordable should be a priority for every city commissioner. It also involves being able to digest and understand city contracts from the taxpayer's perspective, as well as state legislation that threatens our home rule. When it comes to zoning requests, which influence the character of the town and our quality of life, we need someone who understands and appreciates our extensive land development regulations. This comes exactly 13 days after the mayor stood up here 2 weeks ago tomorrow and made a plea for the commission to improve our behavior. He included himself in this conversation. This is yet another clear violation of the charter and our rules that we have up here. You are not allowed to criticize once decisions are made, and you've continually done this. This behavior is chronic, it's unnecessary, and it's fostering a negative culture. And respectfully, I hope it can stop.
Finish your remarks.
I am finished.
Could
Are you?
I'd like to add to that.
No.
I can add to that. If you gave him a moment, I can have a moment. I have to tell you, like, I don't care who you endorse, but I personally, I don't know why you threw us under the bus to endorse somebody else. I mean, everybody who was in that meeting, in the budget meetings, I entertained them for over 45 minutes, going line by line through 597 pages of things that needed to be changed. I don't know how you could say that. You're representing untruths to the public. And we campaigned on transparency and honesty, and that letter was remarkably dishonest. And I have to say, it is true. You are violating our rules of decorum. I mean, you should be censured at a certain point because you keep doing this almost on a weekly basis. And I'm tired of it. You don't have to attack your colleagues because we disagree with you. But that's a pattern up here. Anyone who doesn't agree gets attacked. And I don't enjoy participating in this, and I certainly don't enjoy being attacked, especially if I sat here and said nothing, then that would be an honest statement. But that is factually inaccurate, and it's offensive considering how hard we all work up here. So I agree that people can go back and watch the meetings. Actually, the only cut that occurred because of you was a cut to the amount of reserves that the taxpayers have, their rainy day fund, their piggy bank. That was really unpleasant, and I don't know why you would do that to your colleagues.
Sorry. Are you finished?
I am definitely.
Great. Well, I do think that we should have civility in the chamber, and I maintain that we should have civility in the chamber. It's good for everybody out there that we're civil, and my job is to facilitate a meeting. I'm going to ask everyone to make sure that we always follow the rules when we want to facilitate the meetings. I'm not going to interrupt. I don't expect anyone else to interrupt anybody either. Let them finish. Everyone let them finish their statements, and then we will continue with the meeting.
Well, you're not following our rules right here.
Well, again, you're interrupting.
Four,
Okay.
B,
Excuse
two.
me. I asked you if you were finished. Okay, you were finished. I'm not going to interrupt you. Please don't interrupt me. Or no one should be interrupting anyone. So, I appreciate your reading into the letter what you wanted to read into it, and the purpose of the letter is what it said, and. I'm not going to rise to the bait. So
I'm not asking you to.
good.
But I do expect an answer. At a minimum, if it were me in your chair, I would apologize because I'm a
First of all,
civil person.
First of all,
but you've not displayed that.
well, again,
And you're the only one with financial expertise, as you said here. And I'm having a hard time. I ran Fortune 5,000 companies
I
and
know.
ran billion-dollar budgets.
Okay.
I don't know how, in a law practice, you manage big budgets and you're stating that you're the qualified candidate.
I'm going to facilitate this meeting by moving forward, and
Well, can the rest of the commission speak? Are we done?
we're going to. You have commissioner comments at the end of the meeting. You talk to your heart's content. People are here for a commission meeting. I'm giving them a commission meeting.
This is a commission meeting.
No, it's not. It's
What-
it's
what
your
is it?
diatribe. Mr.
It's a
Marker,
commission meeting.
Mr. Marker,
Yes, Mayor.
we have an agenda to approve. I need a motion to approve the agenda. And is there any deletions or subtractions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
so agenda item concerning Let's Move, which is 6H3, there's an interest in maybe having that be part of the presentation section of the agenda, section 4, so that we can highlight opportunities and efforts to participate as noted. Deputy Vice Mayor
Six
Burns
what?
and I had an
Six what?
opportunity to discuss it earlier today as well.
6H, you said?
6H3, proclamations,
All right, you want this pulled? You want it as a regular agenda item?
as a presentation item, if we
As a
may,
presentation,
section
so
4.
we're moving that into number 4. So 4A, this will now become essentially 4A, right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. I would like to pull for discussion 6B.
B.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I sent you all an email on it and kind of reviewed it with some other, what other people are doing, and actually discussed it today with the DDA.
Right.
And so I think it's something we should
I
all
would ask a
discuss.
question. Why is this on consent?
But that was
You,
I've
you
had
do
that
the
com-
agenda with Mr. Moore,
and
and you're pulling it. This item should have never been on consent. In the
And I
first
agree
place.
with that, and the recommendation was to proceed with a separate discussion. That's
Okay,
appropriate.
I'm all in favor of that. I was going to pull it
Yeah, because I
myself.
mean, the agenda item itself said discussion with the city commission, and it was setting on the consent. That was the conversation I had. It had already been, the agenda was already published, so
This item deserves a full presentation. This is not
does,
something that
and I
any one
acknowledge
of us
that.
should pull.
exactly right. So, are there any other additions or subtractions or moving around agenda items, Commissioner? Anything? Then I need a motion to approve the agenda as approved.
As amended, so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. We're now on the 4, we're on to the presentations, which is now
Wait, is 6B 7AA?
6H3 is now 4A, and
No.
6B will be 7AA.
Thank you. Are we doing?
Proclamation. I'm coming. So, presentation section now, as revised in the agenda, is the Let's Move proclamation. Let's Move Delray proclamation. So this is an event we've been participating in for several years consecutive now. We have members in the community who are in position to offer a few words about the proclamation, and if we can facilitate an acceptance thereof, I think that would be appropriate. So I see in the audience, if you don't mind, Miss Andrea Bruton, to please come forward to represent the cause. You did such an excellent job last year. We all are mindful of your contributions and involvement to that effect. If you would be kind enough to offer a few words before the authorization of the proclamation, that would be great.
Wow. Thank you, City Manager. You put me on the spot. However, Let's Move
For good reason.
Let's Move, of course, was an initiative started by Michelle Obama when she was in the White House. And of course, once the Obamas left the White House, Palm Health Foundation out of West Palm Beach decided to keep Let's Move going. And they made it a countywide competition between the cities or whoever want to get involved. So in the past 7 to 9 years, Delray has been either first place or in second place in the competition, falling only behind to Wellington. And what Let's Move is any type of physical activity you do for 30 minutes or more. You would go onto the website, letsmovepbc.org, and log in your minutes. You can register and log in your minutes, and then the city with the most minutes at the end of the month, which is from March 1st through March 31st, wins the competition. Okay, and Delray is a city of champions, and we don't want to go any below that, right? So if you can, go to letsmovepbc.org and register for the competition. And any type of physical activity, 30 minutes, whether you're walking, working in your yard, gardening, whatever, any type of physical activity, let's log it. And there's many activities going on during the month. You can go to the City of Delray Beach website and check out the events that are occurring.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Thank you so much. I know so many people who are moving all the time. Tennis, pickleball. Would you explain to people what the city gets in exchange so that they actually, are motivated to get on?
Absolutely. There
Thank
are several categories that we can win prizes in, and Delray usually is in probably 3 or 4 out of the 6 categories, and they give $1,000 per event. So overall, if we were to win, we would get $1,000 for that. Last year we did Boots on the Ground video. We won first place for that, and then we won first place for sub-team category, which was the City of Delray Beach Parks and Rec. So Delray's on fire. We want to keep the momentum going.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, would you please read the form of proclamation?
So we have the proclamation. Proclamation, whereas the Let's Move Commit to Change Physical Activity Challenge is a county-wide initiative that focuses on physical activity and healthy behaviors. And whereas Digital Vibes, Inc. and Palm Beach Health Foundation present the annual challenge, which takes place from March 1st through the 31st. Whereas, inspired by Michelle Obama Let's Move initiative, Digital Vibes proudly carries forward the legacy of promoting active and healthy lifestyles in Palm Beach County. And whereas Digital Vibes and Palm Health Foundation invite residents to form teams committing to exercising at least 30 minutes a day throughout the month of March and log their minutes on the Let's Move website, www.letsmovepbc.org. Palm Beach County logged 100,000 minutes in their first year of the challenge, and the numbers have increased every year since. In 2023, the Palm Beach County logs over 103 million minutes. Let's keep this momentum going. Now, therefore, I, Thomas F. Carney Jr., Mayor of the City of Delray Beach, on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of March as Let's Move Delray, and urge all citizens to join in moving to improve their fitness, mental health, and overall health. In witness hereof, whereof, I have unto set my hand and seal, cause the seal of the City of Delray Beach to be affixed this 9th day of March, 2026.
It's already signed.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. There are no other presentations. The next is comments and inquiries on agenda and non-agenda items. We will be having public comment immediately after Mr. Moore is finished with his city manager's response to inquiries and highlights.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the first item, clarity regarding invoices for special events, and this is in response to dialogue offered by Ms. Andrea Bruton and Ms. Cynthia Ridley during the last City Commission meeting, February 24th, regarding some experiences going back a couple years, resulting in outstanding balances for fees associated with community special events, not large special events, but community events that were successful, approved, etc. However, it came in response to changes in policies that occurred in the 2023-2024 fiscal year, essentially resulting in the city manager no longer being able to waive fees. So prior to that time, fees were actually able to be waived by the Office of the City Manager. Policy change to occur, and the outstanding concerns are a result of that particular experience. And as we consider avenues to explore adjustments in this regard, my interest is to revisit with the City Commission soon in the coming weeks to reevaluate those abilities in that regard, because we're essentially talking very small dollar amounts of money due in these regards. However, with the change in policy direction no longer enabling the Office of the City Manager to make those adjustments, it necessitated that consideration. So for that reason, I will be back before you all in terms of what that actually looks like, because actually there are a number of experiences that predate my arrival to Delray Beach that may need to be addressed as well. So again, not having the authority to make those adjustments and considerations on an individual professional basis, that will result in a dialogue with the City Commission so that we can get that all squared away. So I also share at this time, because I did have a follow-up visit with representatives from the community about these particular concerns, and my input was that I will offer a brief update, as I just did, in terms of where we are going in general, hopefully being able to offer some satisfactory and corrective response as we move forward. So really, that's it. So again, in response to the specific inquiries that were raised during the February 28th meeting, 24th meeting, I was able to visit with representatives from the community this past Friday, resulting in the brief update I just offered the commission in terms of what I anticipate the path forward might look like. So again, much of this is administrative. However, given the fact that there's a lack of ability on part of the Office of the City Manager to simply waive expenses or charges, I would necessitate a follow-up dialogue soon enough.
Thank you.
Thank you. The second update is in response to our February 3rd workshop meeting regarding economic development synergy. The initial contemplation for this time was to talk a little bit about land availability, other specific opportunities to get to that place. However, we are in position to offer a step further because, of course, in addition to the expectation to market and promote Delray Beach as an opportunity for which investments are to be made, it becomes necessary to engage in an actual marketing structure. In other words, what is it specifically that Delray Beach needs to accomplish? What does that look like in terms of opportunities available? What it is that we are marketing? What it is we are structuring the necessary plan to achieve in that regard? I talked about the merits of consultancy services from the outside to help us get to that place. Since our meeting of February 3rd, 2026, we've engaged in review process, discussions with different firms to help us get us to where we need to be. And what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm prepared to execute this administratively, given the fact that I've shared with the Commission the status of the Economic Development Fund, which essentially will serve as the ability for us to proceed as we're about to outline. So a firm for purposes of marketing, promoting Delray Beach to work in unison with another deliverable relative to what it is that we are marketing, a planning approach. I therefore asked Assistant City Manager Jeff Orris to be in position to briefly outline what that looks like so that we can go forward.
May I
Ma'am.
ask a question, Mayor?
Yes,
Thank you. The consensus given to you on February 3rd was to you were going to pay for a service which provided us information that told us what is available out there. Because what we said to you at the February 3rd meeting was if we don't have a lot of property, then we may look at this different ways. We don't want to pay a marketing firm a large amount of money to market what we don't have available. So we needed to know what our stock is. And the last meeting we had, February 3rd, your consensus was to spend a small amount of money to join this, get a report for us, and bring that back to us before we took the next step. So it seems like you've leaped over a step, and I'm not exactly sure why. Because I would like that information before I agree to give you administrative direction to sign a contract for an amount of money I'm not even sure what it is.
I understand that, Commissioner. I wholeheartedly support the observations offered during the February 3rd meeting, thus my comments in recognizing the February 3rd meeting. However, we have other considerations we would like to make available.
Okay, but you first need to provide that information before we make those other considerations. That was the direction at the last meeting, and this is why I was so quick to ask you to get a consensus in the workshop, because I'm uncomfortable with leaving a meeting, understanding something is happening, and then we get the notice that we are signing an agreement, potentially looking at two different firms, where we don't even have an understanding of what they're marketing.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
may I please proceed with the presentation?
yes, please.
Thank you. Mr. Orris, if you would assist, please.
Certainly, one of the problems we have is, what are we marketing? There's more than just we have some available land. There is the types of businesses we might want that fit here. The commission did agree that you don't know what you're marketing, so we need to look at an economic development strategy, and that's why we looked at some consultancies for that, as well as for the marketing plan to bring forward to you. I apologize, I should have given you in your backup information that information from CoStar. There isn't a significant amount of properties on that. I tell you, it is the service used most by the professionals. We did not subscribe because it is a subscription at $500 a month. We would not be using it for a while, but we did acquire a list from some of our outside partners.
But you presented us with that idea at the last meeting.
Yes. Well,
Right, so now you're saying at the last meeting when you
no, I
presented.
told you that was a service that was available.
Okay,
What I didn't want to do was subscribe and spend thousands of dollars for something we don't need yet, when I could get the current list through other means.
so you have the current list for us,
I
but you
do
didn't
have the
provide
other-
it in your backup,
I do
correct?
have it. I apologize. I did neglect to
Again,
include that.
Mr. Moore, another meeting without proper backup information. So what I would like to say, because my colleagues were here without proper information again, and we also agreed at the February 3rd meeting, because Ms. Emmelman was kind enough to stand up here and talk about collaborating with us, as is the DDA, that we were going to do something with organizations in the city and work together on economic development.
And that doesn't change.
It does if we're hiring a marketing person without even consulting with them. That's not showing them that they're partners in this plan. Yes, it does. So
No.
if I would like, are you saying?
They will be part of the process. I would like for us to provide an
I
update
think
and
we need a
finish.
workshop. We all want workshops with these organizations to understand exactly what we're doing, because you guys are jumping over steps that you presented at the last meeting and jumping right to signing a contract to get somebody to market our city when we don't even know what we're marketing. I don't appreciate this. It's not what we discussed. You're not providing adequate information for us to make a determination. I'd like a workshop on this item. This is critically important. The economic development of our city is critically important. I would like a workshop on this item. I would like our partners in the DDA and the chamber to be involved. And then I would like the statistical information that is not in the backup provided prior to that meeting. I don't think that's an unreasonable request. This is a third meeting on this subject that we've come to without backup documentation.
And ladies and gentlemen, if I may, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. It's a fluid process. We're offering a follow-up update today in terms of what the current thought process is and why. There's no interest to deviate from what policy direction or expectations, or to not involve external partners. They are to be part of the process. We've offered consideration or merit relative to external assistance, professional assistance to help us to get us to where we need to be. As you stated, as we all recognize, it's difficult to determine exactly what it is we are marketing. So we need to come up with an approach to get to that place. It's what we're trying to describe. So that coupled
I'm
with
making a request
external.
for my colleagues for a consensus for a workshop with
I-
our partners and
I'm-
the additional information before we discuss this further.
We
I'm not giving administrative direction to sign a contract.
He doesn't need, he can, it's under his authority.
And that's not why I'm here. That's not what I'm saying.
It's under his authority anyway if he wants to sign the contract.
It's under 65,000, 100 now, right?
So,
It would be significantly less than that.
How much less, if you don't mind me asking?
can I take control of the floor here for a second? We've been going back and forth, and we've asked to try to get this city marketed. And everybody else around us is doing it, even though we don't want to mention Boynton Beach, they're doing it. We saw Boca Raton do it. So we're trying to bring in some experts to try to market Delray Beach. You're asking people who really, may or may not have a full understanding of what opportunities are out there to see how we can market Delray Beach. This is exactly what we were looking to do, is to bring in groups to help identify these experts. That's what they're called, experts. Will help identify what opportunities are available for Delray Beach and try to attract these businesses here. I want to get started on this. It's
I would
not
like
going to be
to
a
as
large
well.
amount of money. And we just keep dancing around whether or not we
We're
should or should
dancing
not
around
be.
because every meeting, we don't have information. That was why we danced around the last meeting,
Agreed.
you'll
I
agree,
think I think
and the meeting prior.
Agreed. I don't
So
even know why it's
see
on.
why-
I don't even know why it's on the
Thank you,
agenda.
then
It's under
let's
his
move
authority.
it,
It's under his
then let's
authority,
move
and I
it
can
off
just go ahead
and have a
him do it.
workshop on this.
Ladies
so
and
we know
gentlemen,
where
it's
we're
an
going.
update. It's an update. I have the ability to provide updates and clarity in terms of what we've been able to discover. That was only a few weeks ago. We're back here in March. We talked about this in February,
We're
first
asking-
meeting in March. So I'm here to provide an update in terms of what we think is plausible, what potentially makes sense before I proceed at all. And I would love to have everybody's involvement to that effect, and that's what we're doing. That does include external partners. That doesn't go away. No one from the office of the city manager stated the contrary. We did not. Nor did we intend to, nor was that our thought process at all. It wasn't. It
We're
wasn't.
not being provided the
We have a
information
city
you
manager.
suggested
Let
at the
him do
last
his
meeting.
job.
I want him to do his job.
No,
Like,
you
put the
don't.
information on the agenda.
I wouldn't, as I
It's
said,
a fluid discussion. Information continues to come. We're providing an update in terms of what our experience had been since a few weeks ago.
I think this is worthy of a workshop, if anything is worthy of a workshop. Economic development in the city of Delray Beach is worth a 1-hour discussion. Thank you. I would like my colleagues to,
well, I wanted
Thank you.
to get the contracts signed and get started.
Well, we had a workshop, and in that workshop, we asked for what the city manager is saying that he's going to do. And that was to get an outside agency to tell us what we had. So I don't know why it's on the agenda, but in my mind, he's doing exactly what we asked in the last workshop.
we asked him to give him a,
Minus the documentation that Mr. Orris said that he has.
That's the critically
However,
important piece.
I think this should have just been followed through with, and once he got that information, then have the workshop.
right.
Because we keep kicking the can down the road.
Well, it's hard to make decisions. I want to get there too, but not without adequate information. And it seems like we're always without adequate information.
And this is a critically important topic, and
Thank
we
you.
are going to spend money on it. And I think it's worthy of a couple of hours of time, so I'm all in on another
And
workshop.
I'd like our
Well, I-
partners to be included as
Yeah,
well.
I think the partner should absolutely be front and center.
Thank you.
Well,
Ms. Burns, are you amenable to
So-
that?
no,
I
I
don't-
want to sign a
I
contract.
don't
asking Ms.
mind
Burns.
people being involved. However, we directed the city manager to follow through with getting this report so that we would have something
That's not what we directed
to.
him to do at the last meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I offer a suggestion, Mr. Mayor?
Certainly.
Wasn't what
Thank
we
you.
directed.
So, the merits of what Mr. Orris and I are speaking about do not change. We will be in that place in the next few weeks when we have our follow-up workshop meeting. I'm prepared to do that. So, the first meeting in April, we'll be in position to get that squared away, but by which time I'll be in position to outline the respective contract considerations for both marketing as well as planning with respect to economic development involving the partnerships, etc. None of that goes away. So if there's an interest in that regard, I'm happy to oblige. We're talking a couple weeks from now.
Okay, so we will have a workshop, include our partners. You'll have the information that we discussed, which is some sense of what's out there. And I think Ms. Emmelman says she has a lot of that information. There are local real estate agents who said they had that information. We get the proper backup information, and we have a workshop wherein you present the contract to us.
That's all. I will not
Perfect.
present the contract to the commission because it's under the threshold of the city manager's authority. It's actually, you asked the question, Ms. Casella, a little while ago, in terms of what that cost position may look like. And I'm looking at under $65,000 thresholds for each of those considerations.
I understand
So-
you have the authority, but we should just be having these discussions.
Which is why I'm having the discussion at this time.
Thank
I
you.
like to be open and transparent and provide updates as soon as I possibly can. That is what I'm working to do at this time, respectfully.
But no, consensus is not being given to Mr. Moore not to sign the contracts.
I think he should wait till after our
I've got
workshop.
consensus is not there for you, for what
I'm
you're
asking for it.
I know you're, and Commissioner Burns and I have said no, so you want to.
So it doesn't go forward if
Let
it's
the
a
man
2
do
and
his
2.
job. Let
Wait,
the
halt.
man do
I
his
believe
job.
if it's 2 and 2, does it go forward
Everything
or it
doesn't
doesn't
have to
go
be a
forward?
battle.
I'm suggesting in the next
want-
couple of weeks we have our workshop meeting and I'll take care of it all at that time. That's okay.
That's exactly what I would love. That's what I'm
And
asking
I'm-
for. Perfect.
But-
So Mr. Moore is
but the
suggesting the
contracts-
same
the
thing.
The
contract will be
contract
signed.
piece will be separate and apart. However, I will connect them in terms, stay with me, it's okay. I will connect them in terms of what the expectations are being offered relative to the additional information, the backup and all that. So I'm looking over the next few weeks to get it all squared away in that regard. So I will proceed in that respect and I think that's okay. So I will proceed at that time.
Okay.
So the first workshop meeting opportunity is anticipated for April 7th. We'll have a budget workshop discussion, but right before that, we'll get into this. And we'll provide that actual background information. Ms. Doris, what I would like for you to do is to therefore provide information to the city commission in advance of the time we get together so that you'll have a couple weeks before we study.
Thank you.
And you'll have that information so that everybody can be comfortable in terms of the merits of moving forward.
Perfect.
So once we have that discussion, I will not talk again about who's who, who's coming on board. I will proceed with the execution upon having this dialogue. And I think that's totally fair. Given the concerns having been expressed, there's no deviation from expectations having been offered. We're simply providing a fluid update in terms of what we think this might look like so that we can get to the best place possible. The planning piece, the marketing piece, working in tandem to include the external partnerships so that we can move forward in this regard soon. So this starts in April. That will be the workshop meeting engagement. I'm looking at 3 o'clock, April 7th is what we tentatively think. That's 4 weeks from tomorrow, from 3 to 4, followed by the initial budget discussion. So we'll be busy for our first city commission meeting engagement with the new seating of the commission at that time after March 26th. That is what we will do. So listening to the concerns, being my responsive and attentive self, I'm striking a balance in every way. That does not change the merit from what it is we're recommending or what I think we need to proceed. So I shall proceed while at the same time taking under consideration your interest in the workshop. This is a follow-up. We have not deviated from direction. We have not compromised any of it at all. We are simply
Great, that's
proceeding. I'm sorry?
I don't want to debate this back.
It's
and
not
forth.
a debate. I'm just
Don't say
sharing.
we haven't deviated when you're not providing the information.
We
At
are
the last
going to
meeting you
provide
said.
the information. I
Okay.
agreed to that 3 or 4 times. I did. I said okay. I said okay.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, real quick, that information has been emailed to all of you, as well as a link to a map that shows all of the spaces in a spreadsheet that are available in the city.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
for
Orr. Okay, we're now, with that presentation is done, we're now to the portion of the meeting which is for public comment. Any members of the public wishing to speak on an agenda or non-agenda item, please come to the lectern. You'll each have 3 minutes. If you are here to speak on one of the quasi-judicial items, which is the 7C, which is affectionately known as subculture, 7D, which is 398 Northeast 6th Avenue, or
7E.
the conditional use application for 1127 Poinciana Drive. The opportunity to speak on those will be here when the item is called. Okay? So
Good afternoon, Tom.
name and zip code.
Elizabeth Shearer, 33483, for 90 years, same place.
Congratulations.
Good to see you, Tom, Terrence. You are the only ones I know. See a couple Delray people. Old Delray, you have to be. I went to the elementary school. I went to the junior high. I went to Seacrest. And I have to do something soon. So I'm going to try to talk generally to follow your instructions, but I have to run. So I own property on Federal Highway. And right next to me to the north, the person, I love landscaping, I was landscape. Person to the north, which you will hear about, gave me so much trouble. Just complaining. So I don't want to say the word because you said don't talk about subculture.
Okay.
But
Well,
I
I'm just
have
saying
to-
it's not the appropriate time, so
I know, but I have to go. And I thought,
then I will. Is there anybody else there have to go? No. Well, I'm going to give you. Should we move the subculture thing up?
Do you want to? Go ahead.
Huh?
What, ahead of
I like
what?
that
Can
idea.
Give me a sec, let me look at the.
Well, let me just look at the stands. I'm
I just
not
look
going to
for a
let
second?
you. You'll get your time back. Don't worry.
Mayor,
Yes.
if the two items before are the budget amendment and the impact event, so if you wanted to make it
Yeah,
7AA, I guess you could do that.
okay.
Okay. Well, why don't we?
But you need a motion.
Why don't we make 7A, the current 7AA, which is going to be what we're going to be talking about, the beautification, we can push that back too.
Why don't we just do 7AA quick? I'm gonna ask for us to look at that.
All right, so we're going to be, I'm asking for a motion to amend the agenda to make item 7C moved up to 7A.
AAA.
No, 7,
So
yeah,
7A will be.
7AA,
A.
BB, whatever it is.
AAA.
Yeah,
A's.
okay,
Yes.
because the beautification will be short.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have just moved that agenda items to be real quick, so
go.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you finish this, but you're the last one I'm gonna let, if you really have to go, then
I do. Thank you.
and because you've had your place 90 years, you eclipse all of us here, so I'm gonna defer to your
Okay.
longevity.
I was
Mayor-
born here. I just
Mayor.
wrote a book about saving
You
the
can't-
Hold on a
turtles
second.
in
I may not be
Delray way before the government started to do it.
Ma'am, hold on, I may not be able to do this.
So because it's quasi judicial, I don't know, I haven't seen the applicant, and not the applicant, the owner of the
Yeah,
property.
because you're gonna need to be
Mr.
sworn in,
Right.
and so,
I think we're gonna get to it fairly quickly, so I just think we should just
ma'am,
have
I'm gonna have
everybody
to,
at the same.
I'm gonna have to ask you to delay your talk. I apologize, but
I'm so
city
sorry.
attorney.
I have to go, but it's so important to my town, Delray, to be fair. And this person is getting harassed and should be allowed to have people
Yes.
giving poetry,
Yes, ma'am.
playing chess.
I've got to ask, I hate to cut you off.
That's a tough act to follow. Sorry about that. My name is Mariska Gatto, 33484, and I'm the Cultural Arts Director for the DDA, and I oversee the Cornell Art Museum, and just wanted to tell you about something that happened on Friday at the museum. We had 250 student works on view for the Multicultural Youth Festival. Was in collaboration with Anthony Backus, who puts on the festival. This is his 6th year that he created this. We had 34 schools represented and after-school programs, and we had 150 students, 75 in one group, performing outside. So the students walked in with their drums, with their costumes on for dancing. They were singing. They were doing all kinds of amazing performances there. So for our city, this is an incredible event that happens every year. And in the museum, we were very honored to be able to show the artwork from all of these students. It was an incredible thing. We had live music. Students were were playing violins. They had a keyboard. They had all kinds. We had so many students come through with their parents, with their grandparents. It was just an amazing thing. So I wanted to tell you about it, something that happened in the city. And I'd like to thank Vice Mayor Angela Burns for coming and being one of the judges, and then, giving some great commentary from the stage. A lot of city leaders were there, participated. A lot of city educators participated. It was just a beautiful, feel-good evening. And if you didn't get to this one, please come to the next one next year. And one more thing I wanted to talk about. We're doing Art on the Square. Am I up?
No, that's not you. That's
Art on the Square is a fine arts show that the museum is hosting, and Old School Square is hosting on our grounds, front lawn and side lawn. These are artists from everywhere. We have some groups that are participating. The Creative Arts School is going to be there. They have 2 booths. They're going to be part of it. So please come, 28th and 29th, 10 to 5 and 10 to 4 on Sunday. Please come. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariska.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. I'm Paul Cannon. My zip code is 33483. Before I get into my prepared remarks, I'd just like to make a remark about the economic development discussion. And I do encourage you, in fact, I urge you to create an economic development board that can oversee the process going forward. Forgive me while I read my prepared statement. I want to share a moment that I had this weekend, something that rarely happens. I was reading that erstwhile publication, the Delray Gazette, and I actually agreed with something that it said. The mayor, it said, and I quote, has gone all in for Kaiser, creating an awkward situation for himself if one of the other candidates happens to win. It continues, it will be interesting to see if the strategy works in Kaiser's favour or backfires. Voters may feel that the mayor has overstepped, attempting to influence the outcome of the election instead of letting voters make up their own minds. As a voter in Delray Beach, I feel it is highly improper for a sitting elected official to tell me how I should vote. Sir, this is entirely inappropriate, and I do hope that it doesn't backfire when you seek re-election next March. But I must add that I didn't agree with everything the Gazette mentions. In fact, I find it highly hypocritical that on the one hand, it describes how one candidate did not raise funds from a PAC, yet hides its donors, yet itself hides behind anonymity. Whoever you are that writes the Gazette, and the Gazette for that matter, please come out from behind the shadows. You might even gain some credibility if you do. And at that, borrowing from Mr. Moore, I yield at this time.
Thank you. Is there any other members of the public?
Liam Hudock, 33484. I'm here to talk about subculture.
Oh, no, not
Okay.
yet, not yet.
Not yet?
Nope, no subculture, none of those 3 items those are, you have the opportunity when we call it, which will be very soon. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak on any other item?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm here.
Please come up.
I made it. Hi, everybody. Marjorie Wilder from Arts Garage. I just had a couple of quick comments about the funding discussions that you had in the workshop. If I could ask, when you're developing the policy, please consider a clear written timeline, start to finish, of the full process. The CRA had an example of that. Almost any grant process shows that. It gives us ability to plan. Second, for me, I'm not sure about my sister organizations, my budget will be done in April. So it's very difficult to plan without knowing actual numbers. Just keep it in mind. You can't fix it, I know, but if I may offer a suggestion that the performance metrics are consistent so that we are being compared apples to apples. You can easily come up with general categories that we can each tailor to our own type of organization. That would be a request. And I'd like to have you consider engaging current leaders who have been doing this for a minute, as well as maybe a representative from the CRA who handled the A-Guide, as you are creating the metrics for analysis. Myself, and I'm sure my sister organizations Their leaders are very skilled at grant writing, private and governmental, up to the federal level, and we'd be a great resource for your planning as you move through that. Just wanted you to consider those thoughts. I did want to tell you that our AIR series so far has served 500 seniors with free programming during the day or free seats for Grammy Award-winning shows, which is cool. It's for retirees. Our family series is tomorrow, the last one for this fiscal year. It's at 10:15 or 12:15, and I hope you'd consider dropping by and seeing all the kids in the room. It's Journey to Oz. And our senior series is serving 250 seniors monthly with 2 push-in programs to 5 county agencies. Many of these seniors have dementia or Alzheimer's, and it's a really amazing thing to hear what they say about the work that's being done there. And our volunteer party is on the 25th of March. We'd love you to stop by at 6 and shake a hand of one of the 100 volunteers that we have doing 10,000 hours a year. Thank you so much. Have fun this evening. I'm going to have fun watching.
Thank you very much.
Andrea Bruton, 33445. I just wanted to reiterate regarding Let's Move. I know I mentioned earlier about Delray being the city of champions, but more importantly, I want to stress the fact of Delray getting everybody moving so that Delray can be a healthier city as well. So thank you for that.
I'm not part of that 30 minutes a day. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Olivier Verdier. I live in Northeast 2nd, so 33444. Can you hear me?
But you have to.
How about, is it better?
Microphone's made for shorter people. I apologize. You're probably going to have to bend down a bit.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Now you can hear me. Okay. My name is Olivier Verdier, and I live in 33444. And I'm here tonight to raise a concern about the recurring events held every first Saturday of the month at Atta Yoga Shala in 2219 Seacrest Boulevard. I have to say I like yoga, but these events consistently create 2 major problems for nearby residents: excessive noise and disorderly parking throughout the neighborhood. The amplified music carries far beyond the property and disrupts the peace of the surrounding homes. At the same time, visitors to these events regularly park improperly on neighborhood streets, blocking access, crowding residential parking, and creating a situation that is clearly unfair to the residents who actually live there. This is not an isolated incident. It happens every month, and it has been ongoing for some time. Businesses in Delray Beach have a responsibility to respect the neighborhoods around them and comply with city regulations regarding noise and parking. I'm asking the city to review this situation and ensure that the appropriate rules are enforced so that residents are not forced to deal with the same disturbance month after month. Thank you for your attention on this matter.
What is the address you say with the activities going on? 2219?
2219 Seacrest Boulevard.
Seacrest. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
How are you?
Great.
I'm here to speak on behalf of the arts and music because that's what I'm involved with. I have a record label.
Your name and zip code for your residence.
Patrick Lamb, 33480. And is that what you needed? Okay.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Fabulous. Okay. So I'm just wanted to speak on the economic impact of arts and music briefly. The economic engine it has increased spending for live music acts as an anchor, while tourists and locals hear music coming from venues along Atlantic Avenue. At outdoor festivals, they stop, they stay longer, and spend more money on food, drinks, and retail. Hotel stays a robust music scene, whether it's intimate gigs or local venues or larger events. At places like Old School Square, the Arts Garage turns day trippers into overnight guests. So it supports a hidden local economy. This is the stuff that a lot of people don't realize. They just see the event and they're like, oh, they bought some drinks and that's it. But it's so much bigger. So the job creation, the music ecosystem goes far beyond the singer on stage. It employs sound engineers, lighting technicians, booking agents, event promoters, and security staff. Cross-industry boost A thriving music scene directly supports the hospitality and transportation sectors, restaurants, bars, rideshare drivers, local vendors. And I think most important thing that's striking me is that it gives Delray a distinct cultural identity and branding. You know, it's a differentiation. South Florida is highly competitive, as we all know. And when it comes to tourism, having a vibrant, easily accessible music scene separates Delray Beach from neighboring cities. You know, it brands Delray as an energetic, art-centric village by the sea, rather than just another stretch of sand. Year-round appeal, while the beach is a massive draw, weather can be unpredictable. A strong indoor and outdoor music scene provides a reliable year-round attraction. And then just quality of life and resident retention. And with all respect to the people that obviously live here, we have some workarounds, and we have some ebb and flow in terms of like the sound ordinance and stuff like that. I mean, this is a growing community. Anybody who moves here is going to understand that there's going to be music and events, and it's going to get louder a little bit. So we have to figure out how to navigate that. I don't know particularly know the answer to that, but I think we could definitely all agree that music and the arts is going to here to stay. So, attracting investment. Cities with rich cultural and music scenes are highly attractive to young professionals, entrepreneurs, new businesses looking to relocate. A fun, bright, vibrant city is good for the overall tax base. That's all I got. Thanks so much.
Well done.
Right on time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good evening. Pamela Williams, 33444. Before I start, we seem to have run out of agendas. Are there any extras?
I don't want to give it one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me first start by doing my kudos. You know, that's not very common coming from myself, or AKA Tammy Taxpayer. I would like to thank all city staff and personnel who were very instrumental in getting the closure, temporary closure, reassignment of the Bi-Lo Market at 24 Northwest 8th Avenue. That has been a thorn in my side since I purchased my property in 1994. With that being said, let's get to the real personality of me. I have a problem with the fact that business has stopped there, but the top portion of that building is used as a residence. So with that being said, I would like to know if they're going to be governed by residential violations. If I am required to have my right-of-way with grass and to have an actual marked parking area, I think that needs to be imposed on that address as well. Again, that's 24 Northwest 8th Avenue. That is an eyesore as you come into the Paradise Heights HOA as well as a part of the set. Yes, no, up or down. And to hear that nothing can be done because it's in litigation to be sold, to be bought, it doesn't matter to me. I pass that every day. It's an eyesore. If I have to maintain my right-of-way and my driveway, I want that to be imposed as well. It's ruining my property value, I'm sure. Also, the home at 240 Northwest 8th Avenue. Let me start with the niceness. Thank you to all city staff who was very instrumental in getting the lawn taken care of. We had vermin and animals and even snakes beginning to take residence there because of the overgrown vegetation. That was taken care of and it looks much better. However, the building itself has a lot of missing windows and we are observing people coming in at night and leaving in the daytime. So now it's being used as a shelter. That needs to be looked at as well. I have kids that are walking to Spady and people coming in and off that property. So I'm not sure. I know they're not supposed to be there because they're not paying rent. And in my days of retirement, I was able to mandate that and do Chief Hunter's job. But with me being gainfully employed, I don't have the time to babysit that. That's 240 Northwest 8th Avenue. Thank you, Jerry, and your department for getting that cut and clean, but I need to have that buttoned up. It is a eyesore in one, but it's also a hazard. Kids go by there all day. We're seeing vagrants come in and out of that. We don't want that to be another incident like we had with unwanted neighbors at the Legion Hall in the past. So if you could look into those two for me and please get back to me, either in writing or at the next meeting, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak on any agenda or non-agenda item which we have, that you're allowed to speak on? Seeing none, right? Are you getting up back there? No? Seeing none, public comment is closed. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is adopted. All right. We now are moving to item 7AA, which is,
Formerly 6B.
we got formally 6A, which is the, essentially the beautification
Task force.
task force that we talked about. I sent to everybody some ideas that I had, because I had talked to about 3 or 4 communities about what they do, and I sent you all an email. I happened to go to the DDA today, where they had this as an agenda item. They talked about it. So it started off, the reason I pulled this was because it talked about it. This is a discussion item, and really it should have not. It's a discussion item. So
How is that getting on consensus? You're in those meetings.
I did not. Well,
I take responsibility. I heard it should have been a regular meeting agenda item. I did not move it. I left it there. So that's on me.
Okay, thank
Mayor,
you.
did you want me to read the resolution or probably not?
do I want you to read the resolution?
For the.
Well, I don't know what we're going to discuss today, because
I
I
was-
think the resolution is going to be modified based on based on the way you projected it. So would you like to be recognized?
I just was wondering if we should, I feel like we need to, this was supposed to be a collaboration with the DDA, and I had to go back through the minutes, because first we get a cover sheet recommending a 7-person task force, which was not at all what was discussed in the minutes of our 3-hour meeting on January 22nd. And there's a number of things that aren't happening after we leave that meeting. We spent 3 hours going through what we wanted. So when I see it on the agenda, I typically expect it to reflect what was given as a consensus. And this does not at all reflect what was given as a consensus. The mayor spoke today, and he has an idea. I do think we have to circle back, go through these meeting minutes, and have a meeting with the DDA and create our task force. But I think even broader than what you want, there need to be more downtown individuals and businesses involved in this.
Jewel is sitting here. She will be the representative from
Ms.
the
Zellman,
DDA that
yeah.
they've asked to be in
Goulardi.
this. I have talked to a number of, as I said, I put down 11. I could have put 15 in other situations. I mean,
I think
the ones
more.
that I've seen, really, and I will say that because of the importance of Atlantic, that I wanted more. What I didn't want this to be was staff-driven. I wanted it to be resident/stakeholder-driven. That would include the CRA, that would include the DDA, it would include some shops, it would include other people down there, interested people who are creative, to try to weigh in on how I think Atlantic Avenue, how we all want Atlantic Avenue to kind of look, and I just didn't want it staff-driven. So I went to the DDA today. I didn't realize that they had copied you because it was on an agenda item, so they all waved into my email. But as I said at the DDA meeting, and I'm saying here, this is just a starting point. I don't know how many people we want, what the composition you want to have, whether, is it one landscape persons or 2 landscape persons? Is it, one restaurant, one hospitality, or 2 hospitality? I don't know.
Right. So
But I
this
do
is
think it's a collaborative effort with the stakeholders in furtherance of the meeting that we had to try to develop what we want that body to look like.
Okay. And this is, again, and I feel like this is all I do is complain, but this is about establishing the task force, and I'm with you. This 7-person, which is mostly primarily staff,
It's staff,
is
yeah.
not at all what we discussed in our 3-hour meeting, and the minutes reflect that. Additionally, you're supposed to be updating us when you're meeting with the DDA. You're supposed to be having monthly meetings with the DDA.
I do
Granted,
have
it's
monthly
only
meetings with them.
right, but I've not received one update on that. So I don't have any idea what's going on once we leave the meeting. This gets put on the agenda and is not at all reflective of the 3-hour discussion that we had where we all gave our input, but also to show respect to our partners in the DDA, none of their input is in this consideration either. So how we're moving forward, you all,
Well, so what I'm looking for, is why I did it and why I pulled it, is I'm looking for, and what I said to the DDA today, is I'm looking for consensus, because I said I can't speak for the commission, because I don't know what they're going to agree to. Thankfully,
Right.
I think we're all kind of agreeing to the same thing, is that I'm looking for consensus to go back to the drawing board.
correct.
Take in mind what we said at the joint meeting, look at some of the notes that I did here that came from 3.5 different communities about how they do it. And surprisingly, one of them, I mentioned this to the DDA, they had 15 members. I said, you must have trouble getting quorums. They said, actually, no, we don't.
Yeah.
Because people are so concerned, they actually do want to participate, and I think we have a great group of people that want to participate. The person get up and talk about arts. We got artists galore in this town. We got people that can contribute all kinds of things to this.
And I think you had mentioned a charrette, and I'm not certain we need to do that, but I think the downtown is, this, having our downtown, what it looks like is critically important to every resident in the city and every taxpayer. So how do we get, to the next place? I think we need to, I hate to say it, have another discussion, because all of the stuff that we discussed is not encompassed in this cover
I
sheet.
gave a pretty good template for what the others are doing, and I took, I was taking rapid notes, and I said it's not exclusive, because I don't know if I've caught everything that was said to me, because they were, some of them were just, and I'm on my speakerphone and trying to write stuff down. So, but it's a start. So I think what we could do is create some kind of, with the city attorney could go back and recreate something along the lines of what we were all talking about, and then circulate that
Do
to
you want
both
us
the
to give
DDA
our
and back
input
to us.
tonight?
I'm
And
sorry?
then would you want us to give
Well,
our
I'm asking for
input?
direction to try to have this resolution here tossed in favor of putting together a different resolution for a task force based on.
Well, we just deny it then.
Well, no, they're just gonna
Okay.
table it, because we're gonna come back, because.
I agree we should come back, and I think we need to make sure that our partners' input that we work so hard to get is included, and I think we need more people in this list.
And I think what we should do is we can each, as I said, this is not supposed to be an exclusive list. We
Right.
can all weigh in on who do we think we want to have on this board, and DDA can do the same. And Attorney Jelen should be able to fashion some kind of.
So when do you want us to weigh in?
I think this is a
by
sooner rather than
email?
later thing. I think we should try to have it done by the April meeting. I think we ought to have something.
So come to the April meeting with the same discussion, each of us with our lists, and prepared to talk about it.
Yeah, where we could talk
Okay.
about it, and
I
if
like
you want to
that
do, if
idea.
you want to do that as a workshop beforehand.
No, we don't. I don't think it requires a workshop.
We're full of that.
When we talk about a list of what?
Well, if you saw the email, talked about the listed types of people you wanted on the board.
Right. I
You
have
know,
that.
you
I have
had
my
artists,
list.
I had an architect, I had a landscape person, I had, storefronts, I had hospitality. These are the kinds of categories that are usually in these beautification task force.
Right.
I have my list.
Mayor.
But
Yes.
also, yes.
So I'll go back and listen to the meeting again, look at what your suggestions were, and then in my one-on-one meetings with each of you, I'll go over my draft. And
Great.
then
Sounds
just
like
to
a plan.
move this along, because if we
Yeah.
push this to April, it's just gonna keep getting delayed.
No,
and
no,
then-
I want
and
to
then if
be
you
voting on
agree-
something in April.
Right, if you agree to it on April, then we can advertise it, and then you can start getting this
And-
task force started.
Can I say something else? Can we also look at the timeline? Because I think a year is a long time.
Long?
It's too long.
Oh, so you want it shorter?
Yes. I have a little timeline myself, and it comes to 6 months.
Well, yeah, usually they're temporary, so,
Okay.
it's.
That
a
was
six-
something that we did discuss
But I think
internally.
a year is a long time for this to compile the task force, do the observations, and get back to the city commission in 1 year. That's a long time.
Yeah. I think.
So 6 months, is that the
I think
consensus?
the tighter the schedule, the better.
And everybody's okay with 11 members, or?
No.
No, we can
No,
do more.
we haven't decided that yet.
I'd like to weigh in on that just from having spent hundreds of $1 millions with McKinsey over the years. You do not want to have a team that has 1,000 members on it. You will get nowhere. You want to have a small core team that works with all those people. But you want to have a small core team that's reporting back to this body. You don't want to have 1,000 people on it. 3, 4, 5 people are your core team. And they're going to work on it, they're going to spend a lot of time on it, and they're going to get out in the community and work with the people. But I would not be in favor of having, bigger is not better in these types of exercises.
Anybody
Well,
else want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I think I understand the importance of keeping the group manageable. However, all of these partners, I mean, the team should have someone from the DDA. They should have business owners up downtown.
Right.
It should have more. I would agree to 9 to 11, but 7 is not enough. A task force is, I mean, that's a little more than a board. A task force includes people, and so someone representative of all of the neighbors, property owners.
They're all included, Ange. They just might not be on the core team.
Well, I think the core team needs to be bigger than 3. That's my.
Well,
I think it needs to be 9 to 11.
Yeah,
I'll
McKinsey
go
would argue
9
with
to
you.
11.
And I'm in agreement in that, because I do think once the composition of the force is created, then it's breaking out into smaller groups.
Right.
And look, this is the conversation that we can have. We talk to our partners, we circle back with the city attorney and review these notes that we all, took the time to make during the meeting, and try and figure out what's the best way to go forward, because I think, making our downtown more attractive is very exciting and, well overdue.
Yeah, my only point in this was, I didn't want it staff-driven.
Right.
I agree.
And so whatever the number, I wasn't married to any number, I wasn't married to any particular thing, I just didn't want it to be staff-driven.
Would you do me a favor and circulate? I actually am slightly uncomfortable with the way the emails are circulating between us when you're sending us your ideas pre-meeting with the sunshine, but I guess if we don't respond, it's not an issue, so.
Well, no, I put on the topic, please do not respond.
I know, and I would
And I
never.
don't know,
I just don't know but would you forward out the information that you got from other cities for us to review as well, so that I can look at that?
I did, I
'Cause
kind of compiled it all on that sheet, on my notes. It
It's
was
just
good.
one page, that's all
Well,
it
yeah,
is.
well, they were conversations, they were just talking about the composition of their various things and
All right,
what
if you
Coral
could
Gables
direct us
did,
to
what
that,
my-
that would be great.
I'm
'Cause
sorry?
if you could direct us to that would be great, because I am.
Well, they were handwritten notes, but sure.
Okay. Well, then don't bother.
My little scribble, it was actually on one of these pads that I borrowed from the city.
Because we just want this to be right.
Do we want the other commissioners to share our list or not? We'll save that for the
we give it to
workshop.
the-
Because I have a list as well.
Why don't,
They're
we'll
probably
share,
the
we don't
same
have a meeting
things.
next week, so during our one-on-ones, we'll
Okay.
devote our time to this.
Okay.
But we need to keep in mind what Mr. Marker's position, which is if however big this list is, and I'm agreeing, we don't want it completely unmanageable. It's got to be committed to people that are actually going to be involved. Because
Totally agree.
It's otherwise the whole thing is for naught.
No, it's a big commitment, so we have to select people who are willing to make that commitment, and I think, and talk to the DDA and even, people in the chamber and find the right individuals.
So we are going to. So we have consensus to table this.
Yes.
We're not finalizing anything.
Yes.
Everyone's going to be able to weigh in with the city attorney.
Thank you. I
and-
appreciate it.
Okay. So that is that. We are now on the two very quick items, which will be 7A and 7B.
I thought we moved up subculture.
No, I thought you wanted to do 7A and 7B. You said they were going
No,
to be
we moved
fast.
7AAA.
Oh,
We're
that's
doing
right. We moved
subculture next.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we.
And then we're
No,
now.
Mr.
No, we're not
Dukowitz,
Ms.
you're not
Dukowitz?
coming.
No,
Yeah,
not
no.
yet.
Not yet, sorry.
Sorry, I was wrong.
Good practice event, though, Henry. Good practice.
Do you want me
You
to
look
read the
good.
resolution,
You
Mayor?
look good.
Yes.
We reached the portion of our show which is going to be discussing subculture coffee.
Mayor?
Yes?
Do you want me to read the resolution?
Yes, I'd like you to please read first of all, anybody that's here to speak on this item, this is a quasi judicial item. If you could please rise and be sworn, because you'll be under oath, to the clerk.
Remind them to keep it down.
Yes, there
We're all out here. There's 30 of us out here.
remind them about the 1 hour. Mayor, you gotta remind them they have 1 hour.
Gonna need to come in.
You gotta come in, you gotta be visual to the,
Going in the
to the
back.
chair.
And of course, we're gonna get over fire restrictions. We're not gonna have too many people here.
Well, that's one way to go.
Yeah. You guys have to come in and get sworn in. I don't wanna have somebody take a picture. Come in, everybody.
And there are seats available. People need to type in.
Is this comment limited to 1 hour?
Presentation can only be done for an hour.
There's more? Can't see.
Really struggle with that.
I'm going to warn them.
Just requested my.
There's more coming in through Sunday.
We're going to the
There's
ladies'
more?
room. They're getting some water.
Yeah, you have time. I'm gonna give them instructions. Good idea. Actually, we don't have a forum if you go.
Says they gotta wait 1 second. We
Lost
need
my
2 more
quorum. I
people.
gotta go retrieve.
They all-
I don't know that everybody's in. When I was out there, there's still.
Is there everybody? Is everybody in? Because they need to all be. You need to all be seen by the chair.
Going through, it's going to be a while. There's a long line.
Everybody come in, sit down.
Can't give everybody 2 minutes.
We may have to shorten the time. Lynn, what, if my authority as chair, can I shorten the time for people to speak?
You can say one to vote 4 hours at a time. So you're all ready. We're all saying the same thing.
Give them all 1 minute. Give them all 1 minute. And there's well over 60 people.
Is everybody there?
Are they still coming?
I think that's
everyone.
Mayor, excuse me, Mayor. We should remind them that they get 1 hour.
I see one more.
Are we on
She
this?
not- Okay.
This one.
We should have held
There's
this
no
at-
presentation, Darcy. If it is, then okay, then it's, there's no presentation.
What are we doing?
I only have
Okay.
Is she here first?
What?
Oh, there's more. Okay, there's more people.
All right, we have a quorum, and everybody's in the room. And everybody's not in the room.
Nope.
Okay. There's a back of the room. They're welcome to go in the back door. If that makes it faster. Oh, they got to go through the security thing. That's right. Okay. That was his idea. He ruined it.
That's it. Everyone raise your right hand, please. By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Right. I'm going to read to everyone what the quasi-judicial rules are so that we all know. This hearing shall be conducted in accordance with quasi-judicial rules. The applicant and the city shall be allowed 15 minutes each to present their case. The public shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes each, or a maximum of 6 minutes, if the person represents an organization or a group of people who are present but agree not to speak. The city commission and the staff and the applicant may be allowed to cross-examine a witness. The city or the applicant will be allowed to offer rebuttal testimony. The decision to approve or deny an application or appeal may not be legally made upon personal views as to whether a project is a good project or not, nor may a decision be made on the numbers of citizens who support or oppose a particular project. The law requires that all decisions must be made on the basis of whether the project meets the requirements of law, the comprehensive plan, and the land development regulations. We are under the rules. It's going to be a total of 1 hour for the public to be able to comment. So, at 1 hour, you get cut off. So, while I'm saying many of you are going to be saying the same things. You certainly have the right to get up and try and speak, but all you'll be doing is maybe cutting out people down the road. So it would be best if you would keep it very short if you could, and if you're just agreeing with the person ahead of you, just say, look, I agree with the person ahead of me, and try to go that way. So, to the city, if you could please enter the file into the, excuse me, have there been any ex parte conversations?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, through the process with the applicant, with the city.
I believe there were emails on the server.
Tons of emails, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back because this is a very long time.
No, it's just since the reconsideration was
Oh, no.
discussed and then forward.
No, none.
Yeah, I haven't had, okay.
No ex parte.
I mean, obviously, I think we got a couple of emails, so what's on the server, but I've had no personal conversation with anyone
Whatever's on the server.
regarding this matter since the reconsideration was.
So, Mayor, this is a little bit different because this is actually city.
I didn't get,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did speak with Mr. Rose.
I spoke to him, but we didn't particularly speak about this item. So, I mean, I would acknowledge we spoke, but.
Just want to be fair.
Well, no, he was talking about a parking problem, so it was technically,
And I
because
spoke
there
to
was
Mr.
somebody
Rose
parked
as
in front of
well.
his building.
Well, you would have to speak to him about this exact issue.
No, we didn't
about
discuss the reconsideration.
parking requirement.
We didn't discuss that.
So this is a little bit different, because this was city initiated, staff is gonna go first. Typically,
Okay.
if an applicant is making a request to the city, they're required to go first and they have the burden of proof.
Okay.
So I'll read the resolution into the record and then Ms.
And then,
Giannotis has a
Anthea
presentation.
will read the file into the record.
Right, there's still plenty of seats because there's gonna be 2 presentations and then public comment, so I know people are standing, but, there's a little bit of time before public comment begins. So resolution number 64-26, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, requiring additional off-street parking spaces for the property located at 302 Northeast 6th Avenue, as more particularly described herein pursuant to section 4.6.9 of the Land Development Regulations, requiring 44 spaces based on the use of the property, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you very much. Anthea, if you could please read the
So
file
the-
into the work and start your presentation.
Okay, so the Anthea Giannotis, Development Services Director, and I'd like to enter file number 2023-073 into the record, which is the original in lieu of parking request. Okay, sorry. So I think everyone knows the property that we are discussing tonight. It's at the northwest intersection of Northeast 3rd and Northeast 6th Avenue. It is in the Central Core Subdistrict of the Central Business District. It was approved as a restaurant use. It maintains its approval as a restaurant use. However, the applications and sort of the functional use of the property has moved more into an assembly or meeting space, and this is sort of a discussion about the appropriate parking to support that. So the City Commission approved Resolution number 6223, which granted 5 in lieu of parking spaces for a designated restaurant use at the April 18th hearing, which is available video online. The testimony from Mr. Mayo stated that we have found the average consumer for us is a grab and go. They're typically less than 15 minutes. They're there just to pick up their morning coffee, their afternoon coffee. The majority stay less than 50 minutes to pick up coffee. So since 2023, there has been concerns about the function of the property, code violations that have been discussed and issued, concerns about the violation of the approved use, an insufficient life safety plan, a stage being included in the floor plan but not on the life safety plan, and unapproved special events, and traffic impacts to the surrounding area and parking impacts to the surrounding community. So the current petition that is circulating states that Subculture is meant to be more than just a place to grab a great cup of coffee, which may be part of the problem. So under the restaurant designation in this location, it was an adaptive reuse in an existing garage building. Based on the size, 2,205 square feet, the parking requirement in the central business district in this location is six spaces per 1,000 square feet. They have 8 spaces on the property and an existing non-conforming parking arrangement, which is common in the area. You see it in the buildings across both streets where there's backing out onto the US 1 or the side streets. That's not currently an arrangement, but if you aren't doing a physical upgrade of the building, we sort of allow them to continue. It needed to be marked and signed, just particularly handicapped, but ultimately that was allowed to maintain. So the 8 were on site, 13 total, 5 were in lieu. If this had been reviewed as a place of assembly, of a place where you were holding concerts and other things, the same 2,205 square feet would have required 44 spaces. So the question ultimately is, what is the use on the property? And how is it being used? So, what is a meeting place? The code, section 469C 6A, says a meeting place is an assembly hall, conference and meeting rooms, theaters, stadiums, civic centers, community theater, cultural facilities, and arts and crafts centers. When this use of being a cultural gathering place was submitted, the actual ZCU maintains its approval as a restaurant. So the extra uses are not approved currently. So 469A, which is the parking section, basically in the code states that the whole purpose of having parking requirements is to mitigate potential adverse impacts on adjacent uses or properties and have a safe environment. It is the responsibility of the developer of the property to provide and maintain adequate off-site parking. So when you change the use, this is why the reassessment of the same square footage for what was previously, commercial use changed. So when there are events, which here's a series, I'm going to show you a few that have been conducted, which apparently everybody loves, and that's great, but they change the way a restaurant works because then it's a pulse point of a lot of people converging in one place to hear the music, go to the event, basically. So the issue I think at hand for the consideration for the commissioners is whether there has been an enlargement or expansion of the existing use, meaning the grab-and-go restaurant that was approved for 8 parking spaces. Has there been a change in the manner that the use is conducted that results in, a requirement for additional spaces? If yes, the commission needs to determine the nature of the use and assess the appropriate parking requirement. Because ultimately, you're somewhere between 44 for an assembly and, you know, the 13 that were required for a grab-and-go restaurant. That results in 8 physical spaces on the site. Ultimately, the property owner, whatever your decision, should be afforded 30 days for compliance to figure out their requirement. That's it for me. Here if you have questions.
Thank you very much. So, does the applicant have a presentation?
Well, I don't think he has a presentation. Mr. Mayo?
Yeah, I did, but you wouldn't accept it.
Well, I'm happy to read the emails into the record.
I have it here if you can upload it. I had an hour presentation and then you told me you wouldn't accept it, so I have it here.
Let me just
If
ask
we
this.
can get it on the screen.
Mr. Mayo hired me on Thursday. My name is John Cleary, for the record. I asked for a continuance with Ms. Jellin, but she told me that she doesn't have the authority to grant me that continuance because I needed more time to go through all these records. It looked like there was literally hundreds of pages of things that I needed to go over, and I did not have access to all those things in the short time it took to get here. So my question was, can this commission see, not Mr. Mayo, just me, can I have a continuance to do this when I've had time to prepare? That's my first request.
Well, what's the sense of the commission?
The city attorney looked like she was just going to speak.
Oh, no, I thought you were going to ask me a question.
Well, go ahead. I mean,
Cleary.
Mr. Cleary did contact me on Thursday. I was working with another attorney that Mr. Mayo had, and he did request that, and I indicated that the commission's policy direction is that once the agenda has been printed, we're not able to make any substitutions. I did tell him that he should put the request in writing and that I would forward it to each of you so that you'd have some basis for the nature of the request ahead of this meeting, and then you'd be in a better position to make a ruling on that. As to Mr. Mayo's comments earlier, he emailed me at 6 a.m. and told me that I needed to figure out how to upload clips of meetings for him. I indicated to him.
Let her speak.
I indicated to him that city staff would not be making his presentation. I also told him that I did contact his lawyer on Friday and gave an extension, realizing that he had just hired somebody and I never heard back from anybody. And I did tell them that the staff would be able to accept things up until 1:30 today because they do have other responsibilities to the city, and this isn't the number one issue. So I did not receive anything. I don't know how we upload. I'm not the technology person around here, but this is quasi-judicial. I do think that you have the ability to make a decision on the postponement request. Really should have been made before we started our presentation, but again, it's within your discretion on how you wish to move forward.
What's the?
I think we have to give him a postponement. He's here with a lawyer. The lawyer hasn't had ample time. I feel like that's fair. I don't know that, the process is what the process is, and it's ultimately our determination, and typically anything that you add would probably occur in the aftermath of our determination. But I think in fairness to the applicant, because I would like to request that the applicant in this process please do not continue to encourage the online attacks regarding this. This is just
amendment. I will do whatever I like.
I appreciate that you have the right to do that, but the reason why I'd like to speed this up, I understand it's America, but when people are getting physically threatened, that takes it a little step later. I'm willing to grant this, but professional behavior.
I will make
is
sure that there are no
inappropriate.
physical threats or anything like that, and it is well within the bounds of decency.
Thank you, I appreciate that. That's my comment.
How much time are you requesting?
2 weeks. I'm sorry, in 2 weeks I will be out of town. Is it possible for the 1 month continuance?
The meetings, what is our meeting schedule in April?
April 9th, I think.
You haven't adopted them yet?
No, I'm saying, but what is our anticipated? I'm assuming we're going to be adopting the same kind of schedule.
The proposal for the month of April or May?
Yeah, April. Well, 1 month.
The proposal for April is April 7th and April 21st, of which you will take action in that regard March 26th.
What about notice to the public? Is that you have enough
This
time?
doesn't require notice.
Okay, then
I'm
why don't we just...
I'm not here April 7th.
Then make it the 21st.
We could do a special meeting.
You could do a special meeting.
That's a good idea, Mayor.
When are you?
I'm just gone that week, so.
You're going that week, so the week of April, the first week of April?
Mhm.
I will call a special meeting for purposes of this agenda item.
Ms. Jelen will be away the week of April 6th. The first week of April is
that's
April
it.
6th.
No,
March 30th or March 31st?
you're what, you want March?
No, I'm here.
So, so you're, what days of April, early April are you here? Like the first, second, third, fourth, fifth?
I'm here the first. I'm gone.
Well, the
It would
31st
have
and
to
the
be
30th
the-
would give them 2 weeks, so we could do it. She's
Would be 3.
saying that she's
Mhm.
available on the 30th and 31st.
We can do the
That would
30th
give
and
him the 2
31st
weeks
if that works.
that he needs.
I'm happy.
My
If you're gonna call
What
a
day of the week
special
is the
meeting.
31st?
My only concern is this, we're, at that point, we are gonna have a new commissioner that's sworn in.
Yes.
So, and it's not that big of a deal, we'll have to redo the presentation to make sure that.
Well,
they're-
I would expect you to redo the presentation anyway. I mean, that's, so.
I will not be the 30th, the one
Well,
afternoon.
We're going to suffer with that, suffer your absence, so.
The
'cause I-
31st,
Because I'd like to have
Tuesday?
it done when
I'm good
Commissioner
that
Jelen
day.
is here.
That's
I
the
mean,
day we're talking about,
Attorney
the
Jelen is here.
31st,
I
right?
just
That's
promoted
fine.
you. Well, I don't know, actually, the motion really, really.
We're talking about the 31st, which is a Tuesday.
Okay, so why don't, well, I would like to call for a special meeting on the 31st of March.
What time?
We'll have the single agenda item, which will be this item. I'm sorry for you all coming here tonight. You will have the opportunity to come back on March 31st.
Mayor, can you set a time?
I'm sorry?
Can you give us a time? Do you want to do 4 o'clock?
Yeah,
4 o'clock is perfect. Bless you.
Is-
4 o'clock.
Mr. Cleary, I just want to confirm that gives you adequate time, sir?
3:31, at what time I missed that?
4 o'clock?
4 o'clock, that gives me adequate time, thank you.
Okay.
That good, okay?
Mr. Mayo does have one request. All these people came to this meeting to speak tonight, and they did not know this was my problem.
No.
I'm not going to allow, no, because it's part of a quasi judicial hearing. If they speak tonight, they won't have the opportunity to speak when we actually vote.
Under public comment, they would have all signed up for public comments, but because they
The-
were told this meeting.
Mr. Mayor, the
So-
rules are the rules.
Okay, so you're gonna
Okay.
deny all these people that took off work?
I don't deny anything, the rules
everything.
deny them.
It's open
Yes.
comments.
No, because he didn't do a presentation.
They can, but they won't be able to speak.
Mayor, I would not.
No, we're not going to speak. We're not having any testimony tonight. We were
Public
postponing
comment
the
already
item, but we're
closed.
not.
We need a vote.
I need to have a motion to,
Motion to postpone, motion to
to post-
schedule a
So moved.
motion to postpone to
special
the
meeting.
special meeting on
Second.
March 31.
March 31st at 4 p.m.
Okay, we've got a first and a second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are, thing.
Thank you.
So I was planning to be somewhere on the 31st, but now I'm not. I have no idea.
Where are you on the 30th?
I didn't want to give him one. I didn't want to give him one. Once they call in an attorney, he could appeal the process. He had plenty of notice. Reality is, but that's okay. We're done. That's okay. But that's just shortening me. I'll actually be able to call my son, and I actually will be able to.
Excuse me. Mr. Mayor and Commission, I would like to request, if I could, that I be allowed to make my comments tonight. I do typically tend to work
There
on
will be no
Tuesday
testimony
evenings.
You can
At
send
the
an
very
email.
least,
I'm
I
not
would just
arguing
like to
with you,
have
sir.
my
There is no
opinion.
testimony. I can have you removed.
No, I'm not searching to be removed. I'm not trying
There
to
is
force the
no-
matter. I'm just making the request. That's all.
No, there
not
is no-
not as a testimony, but just as a comment.
You're good.
Thank you for your time.
I don't like being at odds with you.
I've told many people it's interesting, but
You need therapy. I didn't realize you needed therapy too.
No, I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Let's see if I can do Wednesday. Let me just see what I can do.
Let me know. Today's what's today? Monday? Yeah, Monday. I'm around this week actually. So let me know.
I gotta
go to subculture.
But Lucy goes to subculture. I like subculture.
If they were in like a strip mall where there was everything would be on.
We are continuing the meeting with item 7A. Mr. Dokowitz,
Wait, do you want?
would you please read the resolution into the record?
Resolution number 5526, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, amending its budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025 by providing for supplemental appropriations in the amounts identified in Exhibit A, repealing all resolutions inconsistent herewith, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jelen.
Thank you
Mr. Dokowitz. Can we just approve it?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. We have several proposed budget amendments. First one is for Parks and Recreation, $10,000 expense increase to other current charges, and a transfer from the Beautification Trust Fund to cover record storage. The second from Parks and Recreation is $7,780 expense transfer to cover the reclassification of a capital purchase made at the tennis center. The third is Public Works, $15,000 expense transfer from building maintenance to other repair maintenance to support the purchase of 3 pedestrian light poles and fixtures for the beach promenade. The Beautification Trust Fund is the offset to the $10,000, which was the first line item for the general fund. And the Water and Sewer Fund, water treatment and storage, $15,600 expense transfer from the regular salaries line to a special pay line to cover a deficit we found on the Q1 2026 budget variance report.
Great. Are there any comments from the commission? This is this is neutral. So you're taking from the
It's
one
all
fund to the
revenue
other.
neutral. The
Yeah.
general fund, the $10,000 is coming from Parks and Recreation Fund.
Right.
From Parks and Recreation Fund.
So we're getting
I'm sorry,
10,000.
from the Beautification Trust Fund to cover the increase in expense in Park and Recreation.
Yeah.
The other Parks and Recreation, the Public Works, and the Water and Sewer Fund are all just line item transfers.
Right.
Okay, I have no questions.
They're all fine.
Yeah, do I need a
Motion to
motion to
approve.
approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Seven B, you're up.
Resolution number 6126, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving an impact event known as the Easter Sunrise Service to be held April 5th, 2026, authorizing the closure of A1A as more specifically described herein, authorizing the city manager to take all actions necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Okay. I'm going to reiterate what I've said before about timing of these applications, because this is for Easter. And we have to really, I'm not going to say no, because it's Reverend Barr's mass there and a thing, but we have to really keep, if this is going to be recurring, which it is, we need to make sure that the people get their the papers in.
Mayor,
So, yes.
if I may real quick, we've implemented a new system because of this sort of issue. Ally is now making sure that a letter goes out to everybody who does a regular event in a timely manner to remind them of their deadlines.
That's fine.
It will go out both in the U.S. mail and by email, so we do not have these problems.
Al spoke about it last time, so I'm certain, I'm just wanted to, for the record, say, but you're on.
And can I just say just one quick thing? In you know, in the world we're living in today, the security aspects of all these events are really important. And I want to make sure Chief Hunter has adequate time and his department has adequate time for all these events. We're living in difficult times right now, and we have to do that to just to make sure everything is safe. And it does take the police department some time to get prepared for these. So I'd like to give, get these things done in time that Chief Hunter's got adequate time and resources to.
Of course, and if I may, that's an integral part of the process, always, even more so for the reasons you state, Mr. Marker. So that's absolutely the case. They have a presence in terms of the review process with the Special Event Technical Advisory Committee and all other aspects of these considerations. So we are very much in alignment in that regard, and path forward as noted.
By the way, I misspoke. I know it's not Reverend Barr. It's the Easter Sunrise Service, but it's still.
No worries. I have a question.
I'm waiting for his to come in, so,
There's a bunny coming in.
Yeah, somewhere.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes.
So this event is to be presented each year, because I know that we approved this last year. I know they had been on some sort of hiatus because they made a violation of having an event on the sand.
Right.
So we approved it last year, so it has to come back every year.
So the way these are structured is that if they're doing everything they need to do, it comes before you as a consent item. However, if they violated policy in any way, shape, or form, they have to actually be heard by you for 2 years.
For 2 years, okay, that's
So
what I
next
need
year,
to know.
assuming everything goes fine this year, they would just be on the consent agenda next year.
Thank you, that's what I need.
This
to
thing's
know.
going to be over before I have my first cup of coffee, so I mean, it's
we
over by
just-
7 in the
can we
morning.
just
I went
approve
once,
it?
and that was,
Should I make a motion to approve?
yeah, I think, well,
I think we're
consensus,
there.
yeah. Go ahead.
Resolution number 61-26.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
See you
Thank
at
you.
5 o'clock in the morning.
So
It's
next year is on.
4:30.
Does that
road
start at
closes.
4:30? Oh, God, it was 5 when I
No, I
went.
think it starts at 5, but
Oh, yeah, it was
you
5
go
when
to
I
Luna
went. I mean, I
Rosa,
went-
wait for it to open for
I
a
went
coffee.
about 3 years ago.
Get there early, beat the crowd.
Right, lead the crowd.
I just park illegally on the beach because there's free parking before 7
While we're
o'clock.
on
Don't
this-
do that. Don't do that. It's not a good idea.
Illegally park.
Bad idea, Mayor Carney.
Why? The city
Holy
needs the
moly.
$35.
He's parking in the lifeguard
Resolution
spot.
5626.
Yes, thank you.
7C.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving a level 4. Did you say 7C or
I
7?
know, I just was tricking you there. 7D.
6426.
Approving a level 4 site plan, architectural elevations, landscape plan, and waiver request to section 4413D2A3A of the Land Development Regulations to reduce the 20-foot front setback depth above the third story to 17 feet 11 inches for the project located at 398 Northeast 6th Avenue, as more particularly described herein, providing an effective date and further purposes, and this is quasi-judicial.
Great. This is also a quasi-judicial hearing. Okay. So if anybody's wishing to speak on this item, if you could please stand and be sworn by, did you swear them? I don't know who you swore in last time, so if you could swear the people in.
I was getting coffee out there.
Huh? Yeah, that's right.
By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
They do.
I'm going to read the quasi-judicial rules, unless I'll read them. Hearing shall be conducted in accordance with the quasi-judicial rules. The applicant and the city shall be allowed 15 minutes each to present their case. The public shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes each, or a maximum of 6 minutes if the person represents an organization or a group of people who are present but agree not to speak. The city commission and staff and the applicant will be allowed to cross-examine a witness. The city or the applicant will be allowed to offer rebuttal testimony. The decision to approve or deny an application or appeal may not be legally made upon personal views as to whether a project is a good project or not, nor may the decision be based on the numbers of citizens who support or oppose a particular project. The law requires that all decisions must be made on the basis of whether the project meets the requirements of law, the comprehensive plan, and the land development regulations. Do we have any ex parte communications on this file? I don't think I spoke to I spoke to anybody on this file.
No.
So we have no ex partes?
No.
If staff could please enter the project file into the record.
Good evening, Anthea Geniotis, Development Services Director, and I'd like to enter file 2025-082 into the record.
Thank you very much. You're on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Bradley Miller from Urban Design Studio, do land planning, landscape architecture. Here representing the applicant. We also have our architect and our civil engineer, traffic engineer here as well if there's any questions for them. This site, ironically, is at 398 Southeast or Northeast 6th Avenue. And I went too fast already. Right now, it's at the southwest corner of 4th and 6th, across the street from Walgreens. Currently there, you can see the building in the upper left. It's, I think the building is something like back to 1949, something like that. There's back out parking that comes out onto 4th and comes out onto 6th, which is a fairly dangerous situation. I like showing this picture to see what it is today and then go to this one to see what it's being proposed to be. This came before you earlier because of the Art Deco style, which you approved. We have gone to the Planning and Zoning Board, got a unanimous recommendation of approval there across the board. It's being proposed for 8 residential condo units in the 3 stories. And then, 4 stories. And then there's just under 1,200 square feet of commercial space that faces 6th Avenue. The parking situation is, the parking is underneath the building, and the resident, where it says the resident parking there is tandem parking. So it's almost like if you're parking in your garage well, the wife's car is parked in the garage, and then my car is parked behind the wife's car, because then I got to go and move it when she needs to leave scenario.
Gotcha.
So that's for some of them, and then we have I think it's 8 parking spaces there that finish the rest of the residential and the commercial retail parking space. There's a total of 20. The lobby faces out onto the corner and the intersection, which is something that the CBD encourages and wants to see. The retail space is facing 6th, as I mentioned. There's some storage space for the residents there. And then we have the requirements of the curb zone, the pedestrian zone, the landscape areas, and pedestrian area in front of the building. Access to the parking is coming off of the alley. We're actually dedicating the alley, so right now it's 14 feet. With our dedication, it'll be 16. If something comes in on the other side, it becomes the 18, which I think is what the city's alley width is. The yellow area is a pull-off loading area, if we will, and to be just right up front about it, this was really the only thing that got discussed of any detail at the Planning and Zoning Board. We, on our plans that were submitted, we had a 5 by 14 area in addition to the alley to pull off. And at that, the Planning and Zoning Board made a recommendation to you, and it was something that actually I suggested for them to recommend, is to extend that. So now we're about 5 feet by 30 feet. So if there's a FedEx truck that pulls off into that area, there will still be room enough in the alley for vehicles to get by. So I can answer more questions on that if need be. Just to go through the floor plans, the red is the retail space, blue is the lobby, there's some bike storage, and then some personal storage areas for the residents in purple. And then on the second and third floors, there's 3 units each of 2-bedroom units. And then the fourth floor then is 2 units with 3 bedrooms. All of them have balconies and terraces that are used for outdoor space, so they add that outdoor space. I gotta point out one spot here, because really the reason that I'm here tonight is because of an Art Deco feature that sticks up, and that feature is right there, and it actually separates the terrace space from the yellow unit and the blue unit. So it's not only is it decorative and Art Deco, and it ties in with the Art Deco style, it also is serving that purpose, as opposed to having a boring block wall there that's or some other method of creating that separate space. Then on the rooftop, there's a pool, outdoor space for the residents, which is a nice feature. I'll go through this quickly. The feature that I'm talking about is that, which I'm told from the architects, I'm not one to expert by any means, but we do have that person here if you want more of the detail. It is part of that Art Deco style with the curves and the shape of it, and it encroaches by about a little less than 2 feet into the setback, but it's 4 floors up. So these are just some of the other views that's facing 4th Street. This is the facade along 6th Avenue. And then some of the features as you go around the building. So this is the part that I had mentioned is the component of it, and it does require a waiver that comes to you, which is predominantly why I'm here for that feature. Again, it's up on the 4th level, and it just finishes off it's again told architecturally, it's called a finial. I gave it the quote tower element in my terms, and it just corresponds with that feature. The technical side of it is that it's required to be at 20 feet, and we're at 17 feet 11. So again, we're 2 feet 1 inch short of the 20 feet. We're also dedicating the property that's in blue for the corner clip. That whole area will still be paved, and nobody will even know that that diagonal line is going across there. But with the dedication, it encroached into our property for the design purposes. And we want to keep that rounded feature. You can see as you go from the ground up, from the stairs all the way at the ground level, and each of the balconies above, it just continues that curved feature. So there's part of that encroachment of the balcony, but then also of the architectural finial. So with that, I'm gonna close. We've got the majority of our team here and the owners here. If there's any questions for any of us, we think it's a fantastic looking building. I'm going to close with somewhat, if I can remember the quote from Roger Cope on your planning and zoning board, that kudos to REG Architects. And Roger is an architect who said this is one of the best examples of Art Deco in the city of Delray that he's seen. He's been here for 30 years easily, if not more. So I think we have a good project here, and we look forward to getting it built.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you.
To the city.
Okay, I'm going to run through the requests because, hold on. Okay. So you are approving, this is final action on the site plan. It's not coming back to you. It is a level 4. There is one waiver, which I will go over. The tower approval is not exactly a waiver. It's an allowance that the body acting on the site plan can give, and for certain conditions, this being one of them. And then ultimately a determination of the loading adequacy. That is the way the code puts it, a determination of adequacy. Okay, so this is a small site. It's 0.3 acres. It has central business district zoning in the central core. Central business district pays a lot of attention to what is considered a primary street and what is a secondary street. That's why you'll see the way the project is organized with the active uses facing 6 and the parking is along the alley and the northeast 4th border. It is well under the allowable FAR, and it is also under the density. It proposes 8 units in 3 upper stories, and then there's a bit of retail on the ground floor. This is the site as it exists today. So what you have is, here's where the retail is located, and that has storefront frontage. And then this is the main lobby of the building. And then the rooftop has a pool and some open air features that are there. You've got a waiver, which has to do with the top floor as a result of doing a corner clip dedication. And I'll go through that for you. The tower element itself, which is, yes, it's dividing the two terraces, but it is an architectural feature, and the code makes allowances for that if you're breaking the rule for something that helps the style. And then the biggest issue being the parking. So here's the corner clip. The property is like this right now, and they are dedicating this corner. And when the property line chamfers like this, then where we measure the setback moves as well. So everything is compliant on the ground floor. It's sort of that extra recess at the top of the third floor that is supposed to set back 20 feet minimum, and it's 17 and 11. The other dedication is in the back to the alley, taking a 16-foot alley and changing it to 18. When the property across the alley develops, they'll give their 2 feet and it'll be 20. But we don't know when. It just happens eventually. Again, the streetscapes in the downtown are all required to have a minimum 4-foot curb zone where trees, traffic lights, and all that go, and a minimum 6-foot pedestrian clear zone. Right now the property has over 8 feet, I believe, in the clear zone, which is good, because even though the Green Book says these trees can be this close, DOT has to approve the design, and there's a little bit of air built in case they don't go by their own rules. I don't know. Okay, so 20 spaces serving both the retail and the units. 6 of the units are parked with a tandem arrangement, like your driveway. And then 2 of the other units would have regular parking spaces. And then I think the shared part is really between the 1,100 square feet of retail and guest spaces that, can change during the day. There are bicycles, racks, and also a bicycle storage room for residents. This is that when this dedication happened, instead of measuring the 20 feet or the 10 feet from here, it shifted. And so this is sort of a, hey, they're still meeting the spirit and the intent visually of having the third story or the 4th story recess. So the top of the 3rd story is where the recess is supposed to happen. And then this is the sort of finial piece. For the waiver, these findings have to be met. That it's not going to add, you know them, but that the CBD has additional ones that allowing that upper level to not be all the way at 20 feet isn't creating an inferior pedestrian experience along a primary street. It's not creating an incompatibility. Is it eroding the connectivity of the street and sidewalk network? And does it reduce the quality of a civic open space? This project is too small to have a civic open space requirement. So the additional setback above the 3rd story, LDR section 4.4.13 K2B, says that the board, acting on the site plan, which in this case is the commission, has the authority for relief from the additional setback required above the 3rd story for entries, lobbies, vertical circulation, areas configured as tower elements consistent with the architectural character of the building. So this is coming in here, and then this setback is a little shy. So the loading requirements in the code are, in my opinion, not geared towards downtown development. They are geared more towards a suburban standard, right? So because there are 2 different uses, the code is sort of saying, well, you should have 2 loading bays because this little retail needs a loading bay, and then all the 8 units above, more than 8 people, they're quite generous units, that have their refrigerator delivered or their Amazon packages, they need a separate loading bay. And that seems to be a bit excessive for this tiny building. However, our downtown alleys are little workhorses. And ultimately, I think the question has to be that given the configuration of the parking, is a 5-foot pull-off, which gets half of the Amazon truck out of the way while they run in and deliver, adequate in this location? Because this is the northbound Federal and there's a turn lane, this is a local street, and there is also a left turn. There is not on-street parking bordering this particular property. So this is Ultimately, they've made an allowance. It doesn't mean somebody can't pull in, but we don't always count this if it's going to result in blocking the parking. So it's just a matter of, it's only 8 units, it's a small retail, is the layout of the parking and the loading pull-off area sufficient for a building of this size? This is the alley. This is sort of a view of the building. Some of it is open, some of it is under here. That's where the tandem is. And here's
What's the little
pull-off.
building on the left?
The little building on the left. It's a little shed.
It's a little building on
It's
the
a little
left.
building on the left. Yes, it's somebody's got an accessory building out there. I
Okay.
just went down this looking at it too, and they'll tell you. Miss Simon says it's a business. Okay, I believe her. I did have some questions, particularly from the Palm Trail neighborhood, about the height. And so I want to explain how height is measured in downtown. So there's a 4-story height limit. So we go by stories and feet. So 1 story, 2 story, 3 story, 4 stories, right? And then the height, which can go up to 54 feet, is measured to either the eave of a pitched roof or the top of a flat roof. So in this case, the top of the flat roof is at 49 feet. So you have 4 stories and 49 feet. Downtown allows and outright encourages the use of our rooftops for amenities and other places, mostly to encourage planting, which reduces urban heat index. So if you use the top, you have to do some landscaping. It has to be covered. The open air, so to get up to the 5th floor, I'm saying there's a 5th story stop. That's an air-conditioned enclosed sort of, elevator. And then that is allowed to take up to 25% of the rooftop in sort of how you get up there in open air features. This project is well below that allowance, and most of what's on the roof is in open air shade structures. I'm sure they can go over in detail more if you have questions. So it does meet the requirements of the code for height. We've been looking at this criteria given the bills going through. For the elevations, ultimately the criteria when you're taking final action on the site plan, you have to decide that the proposed structure is in conformity with good taste and good design, that it's of high quality in its appearance, and that it's in harmony with the proposed developments in the general area of the comp plan. You don't always see those, so I put them up there. There's a landscape plan. We can go into detail. There are 2 trees being removed, one that's invasive. There are 12 trees being removed, but there's a full planting of shade trees along the sidewalk so that ultimately we'll have a shaded path for everybody downtown. And at this point, it meets the code. When you do the standards for site plan, and I know you're not going to read these, but they are in the backup, in terms of the different criteria that you use, not all of them apply, but most of them apply for the site plan action, that the building design, landscaping and lighting are not going to create a problem, that there's provisions for pedestrian, bicycle, vehicular interconnections, there's a sufficient open space, use and intensity, that there's a variety of housing types, and there is a mix of bedroom type units and numbers, which we don't always see as well done. So those are there. I do want to make a correction that the Planning and Zoning Board did make a recommendation of 6-1. It was not unanimous on the site plan. It was I do think that in terms of the architecture and the Art Deco, they received a lot of support, and I think the board was also appreciative that their input was taken. We do have Deco buildings in downtown, older ones on Atlantic and other places, and this execution was quite well received. So I'm here if you have any questions.
Great, thank you very much. This is open to the public for comments on this application. Anybody wishing to comment on this application? What? Oh, he can't talk. Anyone wishing to talk about this, please come to the lectern. You'll each have 3 minutes. Name and address for the record. Seeing no members of the public, that's closed. Now, back to the applicant, and do you have any rebuttal? Do you have any cross-examination? Do you have any? This is it, Brad. This is your moment.
I just want to apologize for the. I was thinking up a baseball score or something. I hope the clerk's not going to arrest me for that error.
Okay.
It was 6-1. She's absolutely
okay.
correct.
You have no rebuttal or anything?
No rebuttal.
And city staff, any rebuttal? Okay. No cross. Fine. All right. To the commission. Let me just ask you a quick question, Anthea. But for the dedication, but for giving the corner clip, which is essentially a public safety, we're asking him for public safety purposes to give up this land, which he gives up. He wouldn't have a setback problem. Correct. Okay, that makes a big difference to me.
Well, I mean, except for this sort of little fancy thing, which
I
think is appropriate to the style, and the building is better for it than if we made them take it off. So.
I kind of concur with that. But anyway, to the commission, any comment, Commissioner Saul? Do you wish to be recognized? Say anything? If nobody has any questions, then we can have a motion to approve.
I did have, excuse me. It says, you're talking about 44 spaces based on the use of the property. Is that the parking space is an issue?
That was the last.
That was the last
God,
applicant. That was subculture.
I am super sorry. I'm thinking, when did they talk?
They've met the parking requirement.
Yeah. You've met all the parking requirements, the loading. You said that's 5 foot into the alley, next to the alley.
Go ahead.
I apologize. That was my question.
And I can let Mr. Miller reply to this. His slide, I think, is a little bit better. This is the area. So this is an alley.
Right. I drive there every day because that's my gym, the lab right there. And I'm just.
I go to Dell's.
You do? For alterations? Yeah. Well, yeah, you needed like a
did
lot of alterations lately.
Let's face it, I look good.
Take it in 18 sizes, Dell. The width of the street is very, very, the alley is very narrow. So they're going to be along that side with 5 foot, you said
So the alley is going to grow 2 feet.
Right.
Just regardless of what they do with the alley, with the loading. So it'll go to 18 feet.
Understood.
And then, so it's 2 9-foot travel lanes I hope you're both driving slowly.
2 9-foot travel lanes?
Because that's 2 9-foot travel lanes. And then ultimately there'll be 2 10-foot travel lanes when
they
the
give
property,
on the two on
when
the
and
other
if
side.
the property. They are augmenting that. I believe you are augmenting the 2 feet with another 5 or.
Correct.
So now you've got 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. You had a slide with it. So you have 23 feet there so that there's room for something to pull off if they aren't simply just pulling into the parking lot itself,
Okay, thank you.
If there's no other comment, you have comment?
It sounds like Ange does.
Well,
better, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the project is a great project, and I'm ready to approve. However, I wanted to ask a question about the dedication. Is there something, well, this is an LDR question, about when property owner gives up dedication and then now it causes a setback problem. Right. Is there something that we could put in the LDR so that
there is allowance in DSMG when I think typically it's been a Board of Adjustment variance. In this case, though, every time this happens downtown with the corner clips, this happens. And so I think it's just on our list to bring an LDR amendment so we can just say that if you have to give a corner clip that we're going to.
That's what I'm talking about.
So that we don't have to keep hearing.
Bring this up and they give and then they have to come and ask.
Right.
Yeah, because the visual the visual is still the same.
It's the invisible line moving is the way I always explain it to you, that when the invisible line shifts around in the front, then, it technically shifts things. So I think technically the bigger issue is just the 23 feet in the back being sufficient for the needs of an 8-unit building with a small retail, if it's sufficient or not.
All right, that wasn't my only question. Thank you.
And you feel comfortable with that?
Let's have a real quick one.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And that's my biggest concern here, because I'm in there all the time. And I just, you know, our biggest argument, the biggest complaint, the biggest comments, most concerns, driving traffic, maneuvering vehicles in the city. And I'm concerned this is going to be rough. But go ahead, Mr. Marker.
I just have a question. I probably know the answer to this, but I'll ask anyways. Tandem parking. I haven't seen a lot of that over the years. Is
Right.
that sort of in vogue right now? Is the fire department comfortable with that, or I mean?
I mean, the fire department is part of TAC, so hopefully they're comfortable with it. So, I mean, if you're in a townhouse, we allow tandem parking for single family and for townhome. In this case, I mean, ultimately, if you're going to live in an urban environment, you know, the goal is not to pave everything downtown until there's no urban environment left.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an interpretation that I personally allowed. I mean, I'm the director, so I'm okay with this, knowing that this is one unit. This isn't going to be my parking space and then the one behind me is yours.
Right.
These two go with one unit, these two go with another. The parking calculations have been done to clearly say that. Like, it's not like that those are being counted towards meeting a guest parking space requirement. So to me, I think, you know, I mean, to be fair, I lived on South Beach, and, you know, it was a battle to find your space, but what a great place to be, right? So it is that push and pull. This development does eliminate the back out parking that we see in a lot of the older developments that are along the Federals. So instead of at the lab, you know how you back out now, this will be a purely pedestrian route now that has shaded trees and a wide sidewalk and all of that. And then this might get a little messier, but, you know, buildings have backs for a reason, so.
I actually like the tandem idea. I think it, you know, with a husband-wife situation or cousins to get, it would work. I mean, it would work, and it cuts down on the amount of space that we need for parking that we always know is critical in Delray. So I like it.
And I think at some point, some of this is just market driven, right? I mean, if they're confident that they can sell condominium units that are 2 and 3 bedroom with a tandem solution, they'll find their buyer. Usually when somebody wants to either exceed the parking requirement or are pushing for less, it's because their back end user, they know the demand. So
I think if I could, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry.
We had a couple of options when we were looking at this, and this is something I brought up at P&Z too. For the loading spot, it could be wider, but it's one of those with the building footprint and how everything was falling into place, it would have taken out the landscape. We felt it was more important to provide that landscape and not ask for relief from the landscape. And I know Mr. Charge sitting right behind me nodding in support of eliminating the landscape and doing this. I think there's going to be move-ins. You know, it's eight times. They move in, they get out, and I think most of it. A larger tractor trailer kind of truck, they're going to look at that and go, I'm not going in there. Reality. It is some of what Anthea is saying is the urbanized area and how it gets done. We didn't want to completely just say we don't want to give you a loading zone at all. And I think also reality, the DoorDash deliveries, they're probably going to pull in the driveway and run into the lobby and drop it off and back out. But at least it's there. It's the space is there to use. And actually, I like the idea of us making it longer, because if there is a bigger truck, they could actually pull off into that area using the driveway and it into the parking that is only complicating things for our own residents. So management-wise, that gets controlled as well.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Yeah,
Sorry,
this
go
question
ahead.
has nothing to do with the approval. I just want to know, the little apparatus or doohickey on the top of that Art Deco piece. What is that? An antenna or a pole?
It's decorative.
It's just.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
I just keep seeing it's a little piece of something sticking up from everything. Okay, so it's just decorative.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Art
flip
Deco.
side is not to give up the landscaping. The flip side is to give up a unit, and then you have a loading zone that is sporadically used. So that's really the question, right?
It is another option. Getting in and out of that is not easy.
I'm good. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve resolution number 56-36, 26.
26. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Margaret,
Yes.
Commissioner Cassell,
Yes.
Deputy Vice Mayor Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Carney.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That one's unanimous.
There you go. You got it.
That one's unanimous.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Resolution 22-26, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, finding that a building materials supply company with outdoor storage of roofing materials and accessory overnight truck storage is akin to a lumberyard, and approving a conditional use, approving a level 4 site plan and landscape plan at 1127 Poinsettia Drive as more particularly described herein, pursuant to the land development regulations of the Code of Ordinances and the comprehensive plan of the City of Delray Beach, providing an effective date and further purposes.
Okay, I have previously read the quasi-judicial rules. Is there anybody here has not been sworn in to testify? This is a quasi-judicial hearing, so please
Forgive
rise. The
me.
clerk will do her thing.
Forgive me.
By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Right, is there any ex parte communication on this?
None for me.
I haven't spoken to anybody. There may be something on the server. If staff could please enter the file into the record.
Yes, I'm going to enter two files into the record. 2023-207, which is related to the conditional use, and 2024-126, which is a level 1 site plan.
Thank you. Mr. Costello.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Jeff Costello, JC Planning Solutions, 33444, here representing the applicant for ABC Supply Company. Bob Rasler here this evening from the company. I have a brief presentation for you regarding this particular property. It's an existing site at the northeast corner of Poinsettia Drive and Lime Lane. 1107, 1127. It's about 2 acres. It's an existing facility that was approved in 99 with an outdoor expansion in 2006. It's zoned. It has land use designation of commerce and is zoned MIC. Adjacent zoning or to the north is industrial, and to the east, south, and west is MIC. Here's some photos of the property. And also the surrounding properties, primarily industrial. There are some residential along Royal Palm that back on the backside of this particular property. The proposal, as Ms. Gianotis indicated, is a lumber yard type of use. And so it also includes, there is an existing outdoor area to the east, outdoor storage area. Again, that was back in 2006 that was approved. And then to the west side, it's another 6,500 square foot outdoor storage area, as well as the proposed truck parking area on the north side of the property. This includes, this paved area is going to be removed and landscaping is going to be installed at that location. The hours of operation are on the screen, and this item was before the Planning and Zoning Board at January 26th. They recommended approval with the condition regarding the buffer adjacent to the single-family residence. Here it include to provide the trees. The originally approved landscape plan included the trees. They disappeared over time, as well as the hedge. So what we have proposed is, and is in your backup, is a revised landscape plan with the trees, the pigeon plum trees and the cocoa plum hedge abutting those properties. I'm going to get that taken care of and move forward. So that's basically just the rendering of the landscape plan. Required findings can be made, LDR section 3.1.1, the land use map, of course, consistency with the zoning and land use and the uses allowed as a conditional use. Staff report confirms that the project meets applicable adopted level of service standards, and there's consistency with the comprehensive plan outlined in the very detailed staff report. And with regard to compliance with the LDRs, the positive findings can be made with 246A5, in addition to Chapter 3, that the establishing the conditional use will not have a significantly detrimental effect upon the stability of the neighborhood within which it will be located, nor hinder development or redevelopment of nearby properties. Again, that has on your screen the adjacent zoning to the north. Remember all county paving, we were here not too long ago, industrial and MIC surrounding this property. And it's coexisted for many years with the adjacent properties. Storage areas will not be located within setbacks. They will be screened. The truck parking will be screened. Extensive landscaping provided throughout. The outdoor storage materials, the pallets, roofing materials are stored on pallets, packaged, prepackaged, and stored in these areas. The existing storage, this is actually of the existing storage area to the east, and then to the west that will have storage. There is also, which actually that truck is located in this particular portion of the site. And then the truck equipment parking will be on the north side of the building, and we're adding additional trees here. There was additional paving. We're actually going back to the approved plan with drainage in that area and removing some of that pavement and providing the truck storage in that location. Those are the trucks that will be provided. The site plan, positive findings can be made with 2410A3 site plan findings. The standards are in your backup. The applicable standards, we comply with, and there are no identified areas of concern. Compliance with the LDRs, backup includes the standards for, with the backup includes the information regarding the well fill protection, and it complies with all the LDR sections outlined in the staff report and are on the screen. Positive findings are made with regard to the landscape plan as well, and we respectfully request approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Costello. This is a quasi-judicial hearing open to the public. If there are any members of the public wishing.
Mayor?
I'm sorry?
I think Ms. Giannotis has a presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Unless you don't
I'll go really fast.
Did you have something to add? I'm sorry.
You don't have to have it.
So the reason this is a level 4 is because there is a conditional use attached to what is otherwise minimal exterior improvements. Landscaping, the changes that you are seeing with the buffer are typically administrative level, and just so again, for the record, the parking is going to be along Royal Palm Drive, and then outdoor storage areas, one that's existing, and then another one along the street there. I just want to be clear that I did make, for the record, an interpretation that rather than move this applicant through a similarity of use determination, that some building materials can be on the site and stored inside and outside and others can't, that you would just review holistically the project at this time in an effort to streamline a little bit.
So if this were a lumberyard, we wouldn't be here.
No, it'd still be a conditional use, which is why I was like, okay,
but it would be permitted.
Your other building material
Gotcha, okay.
uses also can be done through a conditional use. So that's within that. I just wanted to go on the record with that. And that's why your resolution is saying that we're deciding this use is akin to a lumberyard, which is allowed as a conditional use. Again, there's very little change to the actual physical buildings. It's more hardscape, landscape, and then the use itself of expanding the outdoor storage use. And then the truck parking, all of this has been analyzed, and ultimately you can approve with conditions, which is what the Planning and Zoning Board did. They asked for an augmented buffer adjacent to the house, and the applicant has already updated the plans with that suggestion. So ultimately, it is in mixed industrial land, zoning surrounded by other industrial uses. And the only sort of, area you should pay attention to is that the traffic statement is not really not done in the manner that we normally see them. And ultimately, they're just saying that they're not changing the business that is running there. They're just expanding the outdoor use and the landscaping. And so you can decide for yourself. And then ultimately the same standards for the site plan action that we went over in the previous version. So ultimately that this is a roofing material distribution and warehouse, and they're seeking permission to add additional exterior storage and delivery truck parking overnight, which is why you're seeing it, and whether or not the design has ameliorated any potential negative impacts surrounding it. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Great, thank you very much. Now, it is a public hearing. If there's anybody in the public wishing to comment on this application, this resolution, please come to the lectern, give your name and zip code, and you will each have, name and address, and you will each have 3 minutes. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Does the applicant have any cross-examination against the city, or does the city have any rebuttal or any?
Motion to approve resolution number 22-26.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Casal?
Yes.
Deputy Vice Mayor Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Carney?
Yes.
Commissioner Marker?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. Now to the nomination of the Green Implementation Advancement Board. That is to commit the appointment is to be made by Deputy Vice Mayor Burns.
I nominate John Wyland.
Second. I know we're not seconding, but it feels.
That's okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Great. Mr. Wyland is appointed.
Yay, John.
There we go. Good old John. We now have a first. We have we have no second readings. We have now a first reading,
Yay.
I know.
which I think we should have a full presentation on.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, it's
Do I have
too late for
consensus
that.
for a full presentation?
Let's do
We're
3
gonna wing it.
presentations on it.
Plus I want some I want testimony.
You got it.
We should have staff do public comment too, just.
That's really all that's left, so.
Go ahead.
And Mr.
Please
Rose.
read. Enough kidding. I'm trying to get home
It's
by,
empty.
Ordinance number 12-26, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, amending the land development regulations of the City of Delray Beach Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 4 zoning regulations, Article 4.3, district regulations, Section 432, determining use, subsection B, categories of use, to allow for the rental of accessory dwelling units, amending Section 433, special requirements for specific uses, subsection K, home-based business, to allow home-based business to operate an accessory structure occupied by the resident of the principal or accessory structure, subsection Q, guest cottages, by renaming the subsection as accessory structures to adopt all accessory structure regulations in one section, and to adopt new regulations for accessory dwelling units, and repealing subsection QQ, accessory structures, for adoption of such regulations. In the reorganized subsection Q, amending Article 4.4, base zoning districts, Section 4.43, single-family residential R1 district, Section 4.46, medium-density residential RM district, subsection C, accessory uses and structures permitted, Section 4413, central business CBD district, Table 4413A, allowable uses and structures in the CBD subdistricts, to update language clarifying multifamily uses and to add accessory dwelling units as an accessory use in the West Atlantic Neighborhood Subdistrict, amending Article 4.5 overlay and environmental management districts to adopt the new Section 4523 Northwest Southwest Neighborhood Overlay District, amending Article 4.7 Family Workforce Housing by adopting a new Section 4.79 accessory dwelling units, and by amending Appendix A definitions to adopt a definition for dwelling unit, accessory ADU, providing a conflicts clause, a severability clause, authority to codify, providing an effective date.
Oof.
And it should say "and for other purposes."
I missed part of that. Could you read it again, please?
Backward.
There you go.
Is this a public
I'll
hearing?
sing it.
No.
This is
No.
is
No, this is just first hearing.
It's a first.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. First reading is done. Comments and inquiries on non-agenda items, Mr. City Manager.
I yield at this time. Thank you.
Good answer. City Attorney.
I yield as well.
Oh, there you go. City Commission, Mr. Market, would you like to go first?
I yield.
Commissioner Burns.
Yes, I have something for you.
Okay, well then, that's it.
So I was approached by a member of the Weatherspoon family, and not Jimmy.
There's only 600 of them.
However, this is his father. Yeah, there are a lot of them. So I'm seeking consensus from you to address the misspelling on a city street. It is now Witherspoon Lane.
I know where it is. I know, yeah.
According to this obituary and newspaper article, and according to the family, it was named after and for their grandfather, which should have been Weatherspoon. And so I am asking for consensus to have city staff go through the process for correcting this.
Could we just make sure the staff confirms that it was not another person's, in which
I-
case we would get a street for him, but
I
make
think-
sure that that wasn't a.
Yeah, I mean, staff, you have to work with the post office. You gotta do, there's a formal application process.
Well, that's the
which-
process
anytime
I'm
you rename a
referring to.
street, which we're allowed to do.
Right.
But if there's is there no objection? I think that if it's in fact
There's gonna be
confirmed
a
that it was,
process.
if
It's gonna
it's in
come
fact
before you.
confirmed that there wasn't some Mr. Witherspoon out there who
Right.
did it, and then it was Weatherspoon, which I've always thought, by the way, when I've seen that street name, that it was misspelled.
With that consensus, ladies and gentlemen, I'll outline a path forward for y'all in writing in the next couple of weeks, and whatever that needs to come before the commission shall be the case.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
It'll be easy to do.
Family's going to be happy.
Commissioner Casale, any comments?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not done? I'm
no,
sorry. You said just one thing.
I
This
didn't
is
know.
one
I said
thing.
I have a thing. Okay, the other thing has already been said, but I just wanted to mention that I did attend the Youth Arts Festival this weekend. It was amazing. And what stands out the most is that these young people got to have their art shown in a real museum. And I know that my granddaughter participated last year, and family members went to the museum. Her piece was there, and it just really boosted her self-esteem, helped her just get a little more serious about her art, because it just comes to her naturally, and she doesn't want to do it, but now she pays attention, she's grounded, she's focused, and so it's just a great opportunity to have these young people have their art displayed in a real museum. So that was cool. That's it, and now I'm finished. Thank you.
Commissioner Casale.
Yeah, happy International Women's Day to all the ladies and any gentlemen who want to be ladies. I'm sorry, it's a long night.
No, I just had these suits done. I'm not
I wanted to congratulate my colleague. I went to the Diaspora Award, which was absolutely a lovely event. Pastor Dawkins is I'm very fond of, asked me to attend, and Ms. Burns received recognition. It was a great evening. So that was fun. Congratulations again. Ran with the chief last weekend, more walking than running on my part. But Mr. Moore, we got consensus, and I've asked.
Who won?
Oh, I wasn't
Victory,
competing.
Chief?
Oh, he's always the leader. It's his. He sets the pace, Marker.
All right.
So we did get a consensus to do that run on the Ave. I would like the date presented to us by next week, please. Next meeting. Thank you. Because we gave consensus, and I'm excited to do the event.
Run on the Ave?
Yep.
I
with the
recall
chief.
you speaking about that, and so we need
And-
to coordinate that because it does necessitate involvement with the Florida Department of Transportation.
I know, but we've had events. We could do it at the crack of dawn. We maybe 8 instead of 9.
So we'll be announcing that perhaps during the next meeting.
I would appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, Old School Square website, the former Old School Square, not the DDA Old School Square. If you hop on there and look to make a donation, it's not clear where this money is going. It's not clear that there's no longer a connection between the current facility, and I believe, in speaking to the city attorney, they were supposed to put up some kind of disclaimer. They have not done that. So if you go on and do it yourself like you're making a donation, you'll see that that's something we need to address. Reminded by Mr. Chard wearing that shirt this evening earlier. And lastly, and this is, I know you think, I know I give you a hard time, Mr. Moore, but again, I just want information because when I look at the summary of this document that Mr. Orris sent to us immediately upon conclusion of his presentation, which means he had it, just so everybody is clear, land for sale, 17 properties, land for lease, 5 properties, buildings for sale, 19, buildings for lease, 12, spaces for sale, that's probably units, I'm assuming, 10, and spaces for lease, 84, with a total of 147 throughout the city. I don't know if that's a big number. I don't know if that's a small number, but as we're contemplating putting out a marketing campaign, knowing what we are marketing is critically important. Those are very different things, land, buildings, and units, and there's not a lot of any of those one. So that's I just would like information prior to discussions in the meeting, because I would have been throwing those numbers out there. And that's all I have, and thank you all.
Okay, I have a couple of things. Back in 2012, the city signed an agreement with Palm Beach County to use the parking garage at the courthouse. I know we're allowed to use it sometimes, and we're not allowed to use it sometimes. But could somebody get me an update on it? Because when I spoke,
agenda tonight?
huh?
I think it was on the agenda.
Yeah, it was on
For the weekend use, yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's what
you're
the
talking
conference-
something different.
Because they
Okay.
had talked about the week it was available to use. This was years ago, in 2012. Mayor McDuffie did it, and they had some agreement. I don't know the status of that agreement, but it seems like during the week, if that could be used for the valets, it could be used for something, then it's nobody's in it. It's a parking lot. I mean, I'm throwing it out there. I don't know what there's an agreement somewhere, so that's what I want to do.
You just want a copy of it?
Well, I'd like us to see, if the county's amenable to letting us use their parking garage, then I think.
Were the valets using that at one time?
Yes, that was when I was
Yeah.
back here 100 years
Right,
ago. That
exactly.
we were. So I just don't. I want to know what happened to it. I went to the BPOA meeting the other day for part of it, the very beginning part, and I know Commissioner Casal also followed up on this about signs. The Palm Trail, they talked about trying to create their own signs. They're willing to pay for it and this, that, and the other thing. I've had a brief
Missy met with
conversation with
them.
Missy about it. I've gone to other municipalities where each neighborhood, if we're really trying to develop the concept of neighborhoods, if a neighborhood has the ability they want to have their own special design or something, I think we should try to figure out a way to do that. That's all. I had this conversation with you. It's not a high priority, but I'm just saying there are certain, the beach area would like to have their own, Palm Trail would like to have their own. I don't know if Lake Ida wants their own. I don't know if Tropicana wants their own. But my guess is it gives, to allow them to have a little bit of identity of their own neighborhood. So, in the northwest, southwest neighborhoods, they could have, Frog Alley may have it. I mean, I don't know, but I just think that we should look into trying to do that. As you all know, on Wednesday, we are going to back in front of the Lake Worth Drainage District to make a pitch for the tree. So
No, we're postponing that, aren't we?
no, well, we are.
The request is to postpone
We've
it.
requested a postponement because I was going to get into all that. We're having a rather detailed study done, which, if it comes out the one way, then we're going to be great. If it comes out the other way, then I'm afraid to say sayonara to the tree. But I just want everyone to know that the city is making a true effort to see about saving the tree, which is, I think, what kind of everybody wants to do, and hopefully we get lucky, and that's what I want. The golf course, I got a note today about a caddy school. That's a Parks and Recs question, but I mean, did they used to have a caddy school at the golf course, and are we going to be having that again?
That's to be determined. So if
it's not high on my list.
Mr. Mayor,
I said I would bring it up.
if I may.
Yeah.
So good movie. I actually like that film.
I was thinking about Martin Mull in the movie Mr. Mom, where they always let Martin Mull win the race, just like you let the chief win. I understand how that goes.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh.
Well, it's not that. Mr. Mayor, if I may, please. So We're not that specific along in terms of what the additional programs will be, but that will be forthcoming in advance of the golf course reopening. So in the coming months, as we get closer to the completing the renovation project, we'll be in position to outline for the City Commission publicly what programs will
That's
be.
all. I just wanted to bring it up and by the way, I'm confident that Commissioner Casal could do a very good job racing if she wanted to do. So anyway, Missy, I've asked you to do me a favor and just to come up because I'm getting lots of correspondence on it. I just need to know how to reply to this. The people want to know the status of the Pompey Park construction. They want to know the status of the golf course, which we're driving by, but you can give me an update on. And the last was, and this is a new addition, and I sprung it on you. They talked about now that the PEB Capital has done a great job there with that whole project. They say that the library, which is a building that we own and we're kind of responsible for, its maintenance. They say it's due for the word was used, a facelift, and I think that those colors are very dated, and I'm just curious what's in the works.
Okay, so golf course first. The golf course construction is on schedule. Everything is happening. Nothing that's going on with the tree has done anything to interrupt the schedule for the renovation of the golf course.
Perfect.
Those are separate activities.
Perfect.
Okay. Is that everything you wanted to know about that?
Yeah, that's it. That's just I want to be able to. People are wondering if it's been delayed and where we are in the schedule. When do you anticipate the scheduled completion date?
In November, just like we promised at the
Good.
very beginning.
That-
We're actually going to be starting to put grass in the ground 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
That's
we're
fabulous.
on schedule.
That's fabulous. Well done.
So Pompey Park,
Yep.
we are spending about 5 hours tomorrow going over the initial meeting to talk about all of the bids that Core Construction has gotten in to do the work. So we're starting tomorrow. We're going to pitch in and work hard on getting a final GMP number down. We expect to bring that to a joint City Commission CRA meeting in April so that if there are any adjustments that need to be made to the funding or to the scope of the project, that this board will be able to make those decisions at a joint meeting.
Okay.
Can I add?
So that is moving forward.
You have a question?
No, I don't have a question. I was just you go ahead and finish. I just wanted to add, there's a community outreach meeting by one of the construction companies on Wednesday, May 6th.
Right.
Right.
That's gonna
It
be-
will happen, the public outreach meeting will happen after we've
Right.
worked
You said
through
that was
that.
happening in April.
What we think is the guaranteed maximum price and brought it to commission.
Good.
Okay, and then the
Library.
last one was?
The library.
So the library actually met with Jeff Orris and myself about a month and a half ago now. They are very interested in doing a complete facelift on the library. I feel like I'm spilling the beans on what they want to do, but they have donors that are actually going to donate funding to put up new signs on the front side of the library, which is very much needed. They want to change up the color scheme, get all of the aluminum awnings that are on the outside of the building. Some of those have, over the years, suffered with a little bit of corrosion and that kind of thing. Get those fixed up and painted up. Get rid of the old, maybe 1980s-ish mustard and ketchup color scheme
That's
and
what they
go
were
with
saying to me,
something
yeah.
brighter and more current.
More Delray Beach.
More current Delray Beach.
That's right.
So that's for the library. We're also going to be doing a similar effort for Fire Station 111 because it also has that same paint scheme. Fire Station 111's facelift is going to be funded through the public safety government obligation bond, and the library facelift. We're going to be bringing that to commission in the upcoming fiscal year's capital improvement program requests.
Perfect.
Mr. Mayor, may I add?
Yes?
So one piece of clarification that will become necessary is at some point, as I thought I recalled, the library, the Derry Beach Public Library, will actually take ownership of the building at some point as a nonprofit organization, et cetera. So we need to double check that before we go too far down the track, but there may be a provision.
Is that
There is a point that the contract
It's soon.
calls for, and it's like now,
Right.
where the library chooses either to take ownership of the building or the city retains ownership of the building. So that is very, very right now.
do they make that determination, or do we jointly make that determination? Could you
That's
get a
a
copy
great-
of that
Their
contract to
option,
us?
or is it-
Right.
I can
'cause-
send you the contract.
Yeah, send us the contract, and maybe we need to be discussing that.
I'd like to know what we're,
Yeah, it's, because I think it was a 30-year contract.
I can't remember if it's 2026 or 2027.
I
when
just
that-
know it's
But are
close.
we
It's
when that
close. It's coming
happens.
up.
if we sell the building to them, should we?
I don't think we
retain
sell it. I
easement
think-
rights
is it
of
in
the
our
parking
Just
lot
give
and
it to
everything in
them.
the back?
Is
I
it
mean,
in
not
our
sell, but
binder?
give, but give, whatever.
Yeah,
The
deed it.
parking, all of the parking area belongs to Palm Beach County, and we have lease agreements with Palm Beach County
So
for,
that won't affect the ownership
for
of
all
that
of
building, will not
that.
affect the
No, it's just the
Right.
building.
Okay.
I'll send it to you first thing.
And I have one last question, but it's for the city attorney.
oh,
What is
perfect.
the status of the well, you can say that because you're involved too.
Oh.
The status of the seawall contract.
We are having a meeting this Friday. Missy's got a lot of long meetings this week. I scheduled a 3-hour meeting on Friday. ManCon is bringing their representatives. I'm bringing city representatives, and the goal is to not walk out of there without a contract.
Good. I get calls every week
I know.
on that. And
And-
I know,
Mayor.
I'm getting copies of emails you're being sent, so I know that you're getting.
Mayor, I do, and I wanted to ask the commission, typically we don't put things on the organizational meeting agenda. However, I mean, this would go on consent. Obviously, I would review it with each of you, but I think there's just a lot of community excitement about getting this contract started.
Yeah.
So if I can negotiate it, can we put it on your?
Absolutely.
The consensus here,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I say yes, put it on, get it done, get
Okay.
it done.
Don't screw it up.
Good, glad I brought that up. Okay, good. I have no more comments.